Happy Christmas.
Get out of here with that British crap. This is Merry Christmas territory, Pisco.
Oh, is it?
Happy Christmas and learn. Lib and Jolly. I should have thought of a Christmas pun before we started. Welcome to Lib and Learn, everybody. The only podcast where we learn about politics under the veil of Christmas. I'm a host, the Soy Pill. With me, as always, is Guy, Hutch, and Pisco. How's everybody doing today? Merry Christmas, all you non-Christmas enjoyers.
So good.
Right.
Did you shave your head, Hutch?
I gave it a fresh shave a couple days ago.
Looks good, dude.
Thanks.
Very clean.
Thanks.
Speaking of things that Hutch is doing wrong, Hutch, I heard you really liked Avatar.
I fucking actually love Avatar films.
All of them. Okay, wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Before you tell me why and try to justify it to me, does this do anything for you?
Yay! Yay! Keep doing that.
You don't have to take that, Hutch. You don't have to take that.
I make no apologies. Anybody who claims to love cinema, you're just lying if you go see Avatar in theaters and you don't have a good time.
I saw Avatar 3 in a sketchy theater on my phone, and it was the same as the second one. It was they did the same thing.
Exactly the same.
Exactly the same. They did the whale fight again. He did the thing from the first movie. He's like, I got to unite all the tribes.
Yeah, dude. It's like comical how it is a just carbon copy of the first two films.
And
right.
Okay.
Wait.
Anyway.
So you're fully cognizant of just how lame it is, and yet you love it?
You don't go to Avatar for the fucking story. You go because it's just like a visual spectacle. It's just a really fun experience in IMAX 3D. Plus, if you saw it in IMAX, you got to watch the prologue for the Odyssey, which was incredible. That looks phenomenal.
Is that Nolan?
Yeah. Yeah, he went big. He went big for the next one. Yeah.
So is James Cameron still directing these?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's still alive and everything. Yeah.
He's still alive. Holy shit.
Did
you know Sammy the Bull is still alive?
Dead.
I think I did know that.
Bull, the mafia guy, he's alive. Pretty wild.
I think I did know that. Regarding James Cameron, though, Paul Thomas Anderson, who I think is one of the best filmmakers alive right now, came out with what I think is the best movie that came out this year, One Battle After Another. He tells a story about how he went to film school, and one of the teachers in one of the classes he was taking said something like, if you're here to make another Terminator 2, then don't bother even coming here. He's basically implying that Terminator 2 was bad. And that was the thing that made Paul Thomas Anderson actually quit film school and just start pumping out movies, because he fucking loved Terminator 2. And speaking of Terminator 2, there was some homages to Terminator 2 in One Battle After Another, which is very random and you wouldn't expect that. But
I didn't catch them. What were they?
They're kind of subtle, but without getting into spoilers, remember the scene where Sean Penn is walking down the road and his face is all mangled?
That's a good scene.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be kind of reminiscent of the T-1000 walking out of the
I
fire.
got that.
I don't wish to speak ill of James Cameron, but I prefer Alien over Aliens.
Yeah, same. I'm an Aliens fan.
I saw the movie this weekend, and if Benicio del Toro doesn't win an Oscar for that performance, then this world deserves to go down in flames. He was amazing.
He's great.
He was the best character. I think he was the only character who was not completely incompetent. Actually, he just totally had his shit together.
He was awesome.
I will say, Hutch, the one scene that I did enjoy in Avatar was when Blue Stephen Lang, I forgot his character's name, is walking into the goth Avatar camp. And he just points at that one guy and gets sniped. He's like, just take that guy out. Yeah. That was pretty cool. But otherwise, don't waste your money for 3.5 hours of what you could go watch online right now, which is Avatar 2. So
it is pretty funny how they do exactly the same story beats, a dozen exact same story beats that you can find in the first two Avatar movies. It's pretty funny.
Yeah, even though oh my kids are captured again and we got to go rescue them. Again.
Yeah, it's literally a dozen. Yeah.
All right.
Well, I'm glad to hear you had a great time, Hutch. That's good.
I will say, you know what? It got me through waiting at the airport. Thanks.
Did you really watch a pirate?
Did you watch it in the airport?
Phone?
I will not disclose whether or not I did something illegal.
That's infringement. All right. Maliciously.
You wouldn't steal a car, would you?
I would download a car if I could.
I would steal a car if it was the apocalypse. Yeah. I mean, that seems like such an absolute statement. You would never steal a car. It's well, what if, What if you
No,
were
I would never.
trying to
I would
escape
never
from
burn a
murder?
Waymo. I would never steal a car.
Well, wait,
I would
Hutch,
never
what did
key
you
a
think
Tesla.
about that scene where like Jake Sully, he goes into the camp of the water people, and then this Indian guy comes up and tells you to go to freebet.com and the slot machine appears on the front? That was kind of weird. I didn't think that really fit the movie
It's
at
a
all.
little bit out of place.
Yeah, that was really strange. Politics are happening though, guys.
Oh, they're
What is
happening.
going on? What are we saving, guys? LonerBox is joining us in 50 minutes. So obviously, I think we're going to save Labour Party and British stuff for him. But what are we going to cover before that? What are we stealing from him?
I want to do TPUSA. I don't know about you guys.
All right, Amfest. Yeah, Amfest was this weekend. It was. I was there. It was wild. I wasn't in the. They didn't let me in.
Well, you were there.
I was there. I got past several security checkpoints without a badge. Surprisingly, I blended in enough until like the third one, and they're like, "Wait a minute, sir, where's your badge?" I'm like, "Oh, I don't have one." But I got pretty far, surprisingly.
The trick is to ask people who are leaving if you can have a badge. Just give us some sob story. Be like, "Hey, man, I drove all the way here from LA and I couldn't get a ticket. Do you mind if I get your badge?" You know,
I should have done that. There were a lot of extra badges out there. But I didn't blend in enough because it was like a wide spectrum of men, from young 18-year-old groypers to the 65-year-old boomers. But every woman was like the same level of blonde with plastic surgery. It was like every single one. It was crazy. It's like there's the Republican like Megyn Kelly archetype. They were all that. So yeah, I didn't fit either of those archetypes particularly well.
Were you there with the Unfuck America tour, or were you there on your own?
No, I was there with UFA, yeah. So we were tabling out front and, like, hey, come debate a liberal. They trespassed us because we were too close to the arena. So we had to, like, move away. But then yeah, we just had to move out to the sidewalk, and that was fine for the rest of the days. Got a bunch of weird, crazy interviews with all the people who are weird enough to spend $400 and fly across the country to go see, Republican Disneyland, essentially.
Yeah. As our sideline reporter, how were the vibes?
The whole I was very like skeptical of the Republican Civil War. I was like, this is not like, because after the Elon Musk thing, everyone's like, oh, this is it. They're splitting up, and then okay, now they're back together. Apparently, you can call your friend or your coworker a pedophile, and it's totally fine. You can come back, shake hands, and act like nothing happened. But this seemed really real. There really was that tension of like there's half of the group is the weird groyper racial stuff, and the other half is the Ben Shapiro, like, no, we got to keep our suits on and straighten our ties and kick out the other group. It was weird. It was very weird. And I don't know who's going to come out on top. I'm curious to see where this goes.
Did you see the straw poll that was conducted of the 2028 candidate, the heir apparent, JD Vance, with like over 80% of the vote of the attendance? That is quite remarkable.
Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised by it, but I think it confirms probably what we all, including you, IRI, already believe, which is beyond JD Vance, they don't have any other ideas. And the only reason JD Vance is the only idea is simply for reasons that relate to his current office. That is, because he is the vice president, he's their only idea. And that, I think, is why there's such a unanimity regarding supporting him.
I mean, yeah, you guys think of any other options off the top of your head? I mean, Trump a third time or JD are like the only two that come to mind.
So reports are Ted Cruz is like bad mouthing Vance behind the scenes. So there are definitely ambitious people. I'm sure Rubio wants to, take a shot. I'm sure
Rubio endorsed Vance, though. I think
he did.
I think he did.
Yeah, already. Holy shit.
Well, he said if Vance is running, he would endorse him or something. I think Marjorie Taylor Greene is actually a very possible candidate.
I mean,
was she on that straw poll by chance? I didn't see that.
I'm not sure. I'll get the poll up.
I mean, she's going to be a candidate in the primary, but there's no chance that they would pick her. There's like 0% chance.
How can you ever say there's no chance for anything post 2016? There's always a chance, right?
I mean,
stranger things have happened.
I don't know that. Yeah, I don't know.
All right, I'm going to put the poll in the chat. Mm-hmm. It's quite remarkable. Oh wait, no, this is wrong. I'll just read it. I'll just fucking read
You're
it.
just
All
gonna
right.
tweet it and then
Vance
I'll
led the pack with 84.2%. Rubio in second at 4.8%. DeSanctimonious at 2.9%.
Wow.
Yikes.
No MTG?
I haven't seen it. I'm looking for a poll to try to get the full list of candidates. But no, I think that is. But even if it were MTG, like in the running, would it be among the TPUSA crowd? Is TPUSA representative of
Isn't
MAGA?
that crazy though that she wasn't there? Like she's been just thrown out like literally a traitor. I mean, crazy how she's a pariah now.
Yeah, but they let in, Myron Gaines wearing a Holocaust denial sweater, and they've let in, like all sorts of weird people.
What?
So it's weird that,
How does that guy not get just like physically assaulted walking around? That's just crazy to me. Like that guy's walking around with that shirt on, talking that shit, man. I don't know.
He took a photo with Posobiec, right?
Yeah, no, I think the because like the shirt doesn't say the Holocaust never happened. The shirt is Cookie Monster baking cookies that says "Let them cook" or something.
It would be good if it happened.
Yeah, which is a reference to the Cookie Monster couldn't bake 6 million cookies in 4 years meme. So you have to have like 3 levels of like internet brain poison to even get the shirt. And I think the crossover between that and people who would punch him are not high. I guess.
It's actually the worst form of Holocaust denialism. It's like the Holocaust didn't happen, but I wish it did. That's like the level of depravity that is. I mean, it's fucking unreal. As to the question, I finally have an answer. Marjorie Taylor Greene was not in the list of polls. She was put in with someone else or write-in. And the other candidates are Donald Trump Jr. 1.8, Ted Cruz 0.3, Glenn Youngkin 0.4.
Wow. Yeah, they've got nothing.
Glenn Youngkin would probably be the strongest candidate, but I feel like we have a pretty decent sense of most likely outcome for 2028. It's probably going to be Kamala versus Vance, and Kamala's probably going to win. That's what it looks like right now.
You think it's going to be Kamala?
You're rage baiting.
Wait, why would I be rage baiting?
You started off this podcast with your Avatar love, Hutch. That's all you do.
Why are you guys being dismissive? Like
I'm not dismissive. They are.
Okay. There's all the most recent polls with Kamala on the list have her at the top, like somewhat comfortably, like double digits ahead of Gavin. And if it was her versus Vance in 2028 after 4 years of Trump, she will beat him like 1,000%. With a full year and a half to campaign.
I wish I had your confidence.
I think anybody with a D next to their name can beat Vance. So I'm with you. I don't think she's the likely candidate. She may be now because nobody knows anyone else, but
now she is for sure. Yeah.
I was going to say that is something I forgot is almost everyone there in the Republican Party was so confident that they're going to lose the midterms. All of them were like super like down about it. Yeah, they were like, it's not going well. They were just like, I don't think this is looking good for us. We have to focus on 2028 because 2026 is going to be a wash. That just seemed to be like everyone on the street I talked to, even like there were a bunch of big pundits there, like Lauren Southern tried to like sneak around and not like appear in front of cameras, but there's like John Doyle, Actual Justice Warrior. What are all those? I don't know. I went to the Daily Wire Cigar Lounge and all the ghouls were there. So like they all just seem kind of downer about it. And
I mean, everybody knows.
I'm happy about that. So
everybody knows what's going to happen. Fabrizio, which is literally Donald Trump's personal pollster that they use for his campaign, just not double digits, but it was +7, D+7 on the congressional ballot. There was a congressional ballot, generic ballot. I mean, from who was it last week where it was like it was Alice Intel. D+13, 14, whatever that was. Like they're gonna get crushed. Everybody knows it.
Well, I think that that's good on the sort of prognoses for the Democrats, and it does seem like JD Vance is far and away the most likely candidate for 2028. But why don't we talk for a little bit about like what they said at this event? Because I don't know if you watched any of the speeches, guys. This shit is bizarro. We are living with a bunch of freaks.
Wait. We got a Josiah super chat here that we what made Hutch harder, Fabrizio's poll or Atlas Intel? Hutch, can you answer that for us?
I mean, neither really had an impact on me because I've just been, the signs have been clear before these polls came out. Just the writings on the wall, the results keep repeating over and over again, and it's just pretty clear what direction the country's headed right now.
So it's a solid, not even a wiggle on either.
No, not really. To be honest,
I think Hutch is in the, if you've got a hard on for more than 5 hours, call your doctor.
Definitely, yeah.
He's
Yeah,
been
we're gonna-
rock hard for like 3 months.
We're gonna have the
Definitely.
doctors on speed dial post midterms, Hutch, just in case.
Please.
All right, sorry.
Please,
What you were saying?
no more polls for Hutch. Wait, sorry. So, listen, I don't want to be mean. And I know everyone has his throat clearer. And I know that it's cliche at this point to have the throat clearer. Erica Kirk is not made for the moment to lead TPUSA.
What?
No.
I'm sorry. It's
You're right.
For the first time, I feel like because a lot of our Democratic candidates have this like word salad syndrome where everything they say comes out like as weird and as stilted as possible. She can't like fully form cogent thoughts on the spot. And it shows. And that Nicki Minaj interview was one of the weirdest fucking things I've ever seen. But Hutch, go ahead.
Well, first,
No, you're right. I was
wanna-
going to say you're right.
Yeah, go ahead. I was going to say, do you want to watch? You guys want to watch this
Caleb
clip?
has
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
This is maybe the best Freudian slip I've seen in years. So let's give this one.
Despite the devastating loss of Charlie Kirk, my incredible husband at UVU, Caleb has persisted with the same grift. Excuse me.
Oh! Oh! Oh no! I didn't see this. I didn't see this. No!
Trust me, you're not.
No!
No, wait, hang on. In fairness to her, she honestly handled that pretty well. Like, I've done some very unfortunate slip of the tongues before. I almost said the N-word today on stream because I'm not even kidding. I don't remember the sequence
Did
of
you
the
get mad
word.
at Prime Kai or
You
something?
just had like a slam dunk on Erica Kirk, and you turned this into like, hey, and here's how I almost said slurs this morning.
But
Like,
we've all like combined words or set, like, you know what I mean? Like you like
We've all said it.
you mix
all
up
right,
the
no, just
front
keep digging
and
the hole.
and
What
the
happened?
back.
What happened, Hutch?
You
How did
mixed
you
up like
almost get the
I
N-word?
don't remember. It was. I'm going to say this very carefully.
Mhm.
Hassan Piker called Nick Fuentes Booger Nick.
Okay.
No, 6 years ago. Okay.
Mhm.
That almost
Yep.
exited my mouth as like a hard R slur.
Oh,
I'm not even kidding. It got real
Wow.
close. Can you imagine
Okay,
that?
I can see like somehow you take the end off of booger and put it at the end of Nick. Maybe
That's what I'm saying. But if you watch that
Okay.
clip, I honestly think she took it in stride.
It's not the worst. It's not the worst, most cringy moment of that.
that's not the
involving
worst.
Erica
There's
Kirk.
one worse.
Well, did you see what Nicki Minaj said?
When she called JD Vance an
Ooh.
assassin.
Yeah, bro.
It's
It was
so
like it is. Wait, let me try to find it.
Yeah.
I think we need to find it because this.
It's
What
bad.
was
Oh,
that? Was that
no.
like? Do you think that? Like, first of all, Nicki Minaj, I believe, endorsed Andrew Cuomo, right? Like during the like New York stuff. So like, she kind of just jumps around, right? Or maybe she's just like attracted to predators because her husband's one. I don't know. But
I
like,
remember her. So she was doing like kind of anti-vax stuff. Like when the vax was
I
going
remember
around,
that,
she's
yeah.
talking about her cousin had a swollen testicle or something like that because she
Big
like blamed
balls,
the vax.
yeah.
My
Yeah.
bowels is hot. Well, okay, I just sent you the link,
yeah.
and I feel bad that I'm showing it because it did psychological damage to me.
Yeah, well, here's the thing: is like before we get into this, is the theory that she's a conspiracy theorist?
No, I don't think she meant it. I think. Well, I actually don't fucking know.
Okay, well, let's watch. Let's analyze.
And you
This is
have
gonna hurt me.
amazing role models like the assassin JD Vance, our vice president.
like,
And when I say that,
like she paused. She
No, let the
Okay,
clip
but
play. Let
okay,
it play.
sorry. But she pauses. It's not like a slip of the tongue. She pauses and thinks about it.
Assassin,
And then
look
says
at the
it.
models
camera.
like the
He realizes what she did. Here, watch.
assassin JD Vance, our vice president.
And then here, watch.
And
She
when I
figures it
say
out.
that,
Here it comes. Oh God. Oh, what did I just say? And then they're laughing. And then she's laughing.
Trust me, there's nothing new under the sun that I have not heard, so you're fine. Yes, we did.
Oh my God,
Ow.
is this live?
It's live. There's pausing. She just looked at him.
You have to laugh about it, truly. I have been called every single thing, and you know what? God is so good, you let it roll right off your
Oh
back.
my God.
This is what
What's
Cam
so
Higby.
beautiful
Wait.
about this moment, because if the internet wants to clip it, who cares? I love this woman. She's an amazing woman. She has a soul and a heart for the Lord.
Oh,
Here's like the thing that you need to understand about Erica Kirk that I think like really gives you a sense of how she just exists in the world primarily. she comes across as a bit of a religious zealot. And that's the thing that guides her rhetoric. It seems to guide her, beliefs and all that stuff. Like seems like pretty much a zealot is my sense of it.
I put in the chat, so we have an intrepid reporter who's now part of the Pentagon press corps. If you wouldn't mind clicking that second link for us, Swipe Hill, because this is a person who's keeping the administration to account, and this is his take on what happened with Eric.
You link your reply. Can you link the original tweet? Because
sure.
Scroll up. Yeah.
Oh yeah, no worries.
But real quick, while you're finding that, do you think that Erica maybe disagrees with Charlie? What do you think Charlie's take on all this is?
Okay.
No, I'm serious. What does Charlie think about Nicki Minaj, guys?
Minaj, Cardi B.
Okay, Nicki Minaj is causing dads to leave the home.
Hold on, I don't think that's a good role model for 18-year-old black girls.
Oh, no.
I don't think that
Why does he look like Butthead from Beavis and Butthead with that hair?
That's good hair.
Charlie wouldn't have wanted this, guys. That's what I said every time they kicked us off the property. I said this isn't what Charlie would have wanted.
Okay,
Charlie would not have wanted to make Nicki Minaj there. I don't think.
So Cam Higbee says, "Hey Sabrina Carpenter, we don't need your music anyway," and produces these 3 images of Erica Kirk talking to Nicki Minaj. And in response, I'm like, hey, dude, this was like the cringiest thing of all time. And this is his reply to me. I just put it again in just to get a sense of how much you have to debase yourself to be a reporter that is approved by the administration. He says, quote, "The interview was fantastic. I watched it in person. I thought they both did an amazing job." Absolutely cooked in the replies. Everyone's saying this is one of the worst interviews ever. I watched the interview. It was word salad the entire time. There was no redeeming quality about it. She would go on these 3-minute diatribes where she says nothing. So yeah, I mean, this is the state of MAGA and MAGA reporters. They don't give a fuck. And that was just one of the insane performances that happened at TPUSA.
Yeah, that I think we met Cam Higbee. He was drunk and screaming at Z at midnight outside the lounge, calling her a cunt and stuff. He's a weird one. But yeah, I don't understand this. This is just to be clear, one of the headliners of this event is Ben Shapiro, the man who, one of his big famous segments is making fun of WAP, it's degenerate music and you shouldn't listen to it. And now you have Nicki Minaj up here, famous rapper, and it's very clear that they don't care that she's a rapper, that they've called rap lacking harmony and melody. They care about power, and because she's a big name, in the same way they did with Kanye West, it's like, hey, cool, it's the person who has influence. Come up and talk at our thing and agree with us. And let's put down $1,000 in 2 years. Nicki Minaj is a fucking pariah in the Republican Party because she said, I don't know, I got an abortion once and it was fine, or something like that.
Well, they just spent how many years telling everybody over and over again that celebrity politics don't matter. And, that's always the cope they go with because most celebrities have left-wing bend. And so you can't really have it both ways, but whatever, who cares?
And their attempts to create their own celebrities are just failing miserably. I had the unfortunate pleasure of watching Katie Miller's interview of Kash Patel. It felt like she was like
the one where he's
married. Have you seen the polymark at your guys' engagement? And what do you guys do that annoys each other? She at one point asks Kash Patel's country singer, I don't even remember her name, girlfriend. She's like, would you rather live for the rest of your life physically separate from Cash, but you wouldn't have to worry about the press, or have the press always on you, but at least you get to physically be next to Kash Patel? And she's like, I would rather be apart from Kash Patel because we've made that work. She did the wrong thing. Yeah, you have to watch it if you haven't done content over it.
You almost made me spit take.
She really what you said? Yeah, and all the time Kash Patel was like a little nerd, kind of negging himself and talking bad about himself and putting himself down. I'm like, dude, you're the director. You're the director of the FBI. Have some fucking self-respect.
She did get a pretty decent boost from the Elon appearance, because before he went on, when you looked at her views, I mean, it was abysmal. She had been plugging away at this podcast for a couple months now, and many of them I don't even think broke 1,000. And then the one that she did with Elon a couple weeks ago has 550,000 views or something like that. So, but that is one of the best examples of just unearned celebrity. She is so uninteresting. She breaks down like a child when she goes on debate panels. She literally almost cried on Piers Morgan, Jenk. almost made her cry. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but she mimics her husband's intonation.
Yep.
The way that Stephen Miller speaks, he likes to end on upwards inflection. So he likes to end each sentence like this. And she like mirrors his like syntax and sentence structure. It's just, the whole thing is so bizarre. But
That was the one where she was like, "We're gonna deport you, Shank. We're getting you out of this country." Oh my god, that was so brazen.
You better hope your citizenship papers weren't done with fraud, Shank. We're gonna look into that.
like, Guy, you were going to say something?
Oh, well, I wanted to build on what Pisco was saying about how horrific this wasn't, that Erica's not built for this moment, in that I read that Charlie Kirk still had some say in this planning of like the headliners and bringing together Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro. So we're going to find out very soon if she's got the gift for leading this. But I think what we saw this weekend shows that Turning Point USA is not long for this world, and it's going to go down in flames. So they had some interesting moments, but yeah, she's not the star that they need right now, and they've got no one to fill his shoes. I mean, she was a behind the scenes player. She played as, like, the Washington Post framed it as his foil, his feminine foil, and that she was there raising the family and balancing a career, and so she's not built for this.
No, not at all.
I don't know why she wants it.
Well, I'll tell you what wasn't Charlie Kirk's plan. Definitely, he did not have a hand in planning this. Was the Charlie Kirk tent, where we've recreated the tent that he got shot in. How fucking distant? How are you guys gonna?
Wait, is that you?
No, this is actually at Amfest.
Yeah,
I thought you said you did this.
No. I will. The reason I even still talking about Charlie Kirk is because they've decided to turn him into this crazy martyr with that stupid song, and they're gonna maybe make a monument to him in like the Capitol. And I just can't believe they have the audacity to like get on us for like making jokes about how much they're like playing this up as the great Jesus. I mean, like literally Megyn Kelly says she prays to Charlie for guidance, which is like, I'm pretty sure, I mean, I'm not Christian. I'm pretty sure one of the amendments is you shall worship no false idols. But like, how are you going to put up the tent where he died 3 months after? And have people pose and try to like, oh, I'm slaying cunt inside the Charlie Kirk tent.
It's bizarre.
They love celebrating martyrs and violence. I mean, look at what they did with the Trump assassination attempt. They all wore the ear thing, and they have. I'm sorry to bring this up. It's such a hallowed and festive time, but the cross and Jesus. I mean, they love symbolizing and having death to be an idol to worship.
Yeah, a tent doesn't really fit well around a necklace, though. It wouldn't look good.
True. Yeah.
I'm sure they'll try.
I read they had a ring light outside of the tent, so you could take proper photos in front of the tent memorial.
Really? Jesus.
Yeah.
Like why? Like you would think it would be like a vigil, like a stack of candles and photos of his best moments, pictures of him and his family, and it's like, no, here's the moment he died in the tent that he died in, like, and go take photos in it, and like, and it's not like people like praying in front of it. Like the photos you'll find are people like, like, oh, look at me, I'm in the Charlie Kirk tent. Like, what the fuck? I don't know. This is insane to me. Also,
what
fake
does it
fans,
say
by the way,
like
2 people knew how to finish the lyrics to the song. Just to be clear, I asked a lot of people, and no one knew.
I've never even listened to the full version of it.
Neither have I. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but you're not Charlie Kirk fans, so it's not hypocritical.
We're not even talking about. I think the most important part of this Amfest situation. Is it called America Fest or Amfest? Is that what it's called?
Amfest is the acronym, but yeah.
This is bigger than just like disunity within TPUSA, because what was on full display at this event was significant, substantial, impactful divisions within the broader Democratic Party. It turned into a sort of like airing of grievances. Ben Shapiro got up there, called out Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, and JD Vance gets up there, and it's basically sticking up for Nick Fuentes and Tucker Carlson.
And it was back to back too, Hutch. It wasn't like, it was like one guy's speech, maybe one speech in between, and then another speech completely calling out the guy 2 speeches ago.
Yeah.
Like, just, yeah.
And the thing is, like with Ben Shapiro's speech, in a vacuum, he was making some very reasonable points. The only thing is that it's just so ironic coming from him, because he's talking about, the Republican Party making space for conspiracy theorists, as if that's a fucking new development, as if Candace Owens came along and is like the first deranged conspiracy theorist that the Republican Party is cozied up to. And so, I found myself like very conflicted listening to his
No,
speech.
fuck
you know?
Ben,
Like,
dude.
you know?
Don't be conflicted.
No,
Fuck
I'm
him.
not. I don't mean maybe conflicted is not the
No.
right word, but
I know what you mean.
Like he's saying things that make sense in a vacuum.
Yeah.
That
Yes,
if some
yeah.
person said it, yeah, no,
Yeah,
I
like
understand. But
if you had said what Ben said about Candace Owens, I'd be like, "Yep, you're on the money, right?" But this rings completely hollow. Given one, you fucking hired her and amplified her. You sicked her on the black community, the gay
literally,
community,
yes,
Democrats, like every other minority. But the instant she went after Jews, now it's a problem. So it's like this is his bed. So in the short term, I got a lot of people in my org and my friends there were like, "Oh wow, so based," and I was like, "Oh yeah, but also fuck this guy." Like this is him dealing with the consequences of his actions.
She's also one of dozens of prominent conspiracy-addled right-wing conservative pundits, like dozens at this point. And when you look at the state of the Republican Party electorate, what was that poll that came out just like 2 weeks ago about the fucking Holocaust, where it was like 40% of the Republican Party think that the Holocaust was greatly exaggerated? Did you guys see that?
I did not see that.
Yeah, it's like a significant portion of the party. I mean, like the party itself has become entirely conspiratorial, and it's
Nicki Minaj, the big ball, like conspiracy COVID thing. It's just they're one of their headliners, right? Like that's the mainstream. So Ben can complain about Candace, and it's like this is 25 years in the making, and this is most of you. So
I mean, I'd rather
be of their own making.
I'd rather be Democrats right now, but I mean, something happened last week that I did not like. Did you guys see the thing where the head of the DNC decided to not release the post 2024 autopsy? The fuck is up with that?
Oh, Ken Martin.
Guy, you let's hear your thoughts on this one.
Yeah, defend it, Guy. You're the DNC defender.
I'll give the standard MAGA response now. I haven't read about it. I saw the headline. But I heard some explanation in that, like, they don't want to dwell on the past because we're winning right now, and so it's like it's kind of pointless to focus on why we lost when we're doing so well right now. But I'd have to look further into it. I don't know. What are your thoughts on it?
Those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it, Guy.
No, I think we're doing very well right now, whatever we're doing.
Yeah. So is the fear that releasing the report will lead to divisions? Or
I think that's what the sentiment was. Yeah.
Or will it undermine Kamala Harris's redemption arc?
That could also be the fact.
I'm not defending it. Ken Martin was not my top pick, and I don't like what happened with David Hogg. I think he's a huge asset that we're missing out on. But I don't know what was the story, Hutch. I didn't really see too much about it.
Is David Hogg really an asset?
I love David Hogg, man.
Yep,
He's fantastic.
Is he though? I mean,
why? What's wrong with him?
Well, his current project is really failing, right? Like all the candidates that he's backing to try to, go in there and do this like takeover, like he has a horrible record right now, right? Like what is he actually doing right now?
Well, but I like going back to his Bill Maher appearance where he's like, we're not appealing to young men. Young guys want to know how to get laid, and we're not talking to them like that. And I think that there's a lot to be gleaned from that. Like he's tapped in with young dudes. Yes, he's endorsing Kate Badu, whatever her name was, is useless or whatever, or that. What was the woman's name in Arizona who had no chance? Kate
Badu,
Abu Grave. Okay, I know who you're talking about.
Isn't she in Illinois?
Endorsing candidates. Yeah, I'm sorry, I was confusing her with the candidate in Arizona, Fox something. I don't know. There was
super progressive candidate, I think. Yeah.
So. He's trying to elevate some more progressive candidates, which I don't blame him.
Yeah, I mean, when I met with Ken, he was very much like, oh, we immediately day one fired all the media people. We got rid of like all the people who were consulting and telling us to, I don't know, throw, what was it, Megan Thee Stallion out, and we're like, we got to reevaluate. So they have their finger on the pulse insofar as we fucked up. How can we fix this? But maybe, they don't want to release. This is how we fucked up, and now we can shift the conversation to haha. Because remember the momentum post-election from the Trump admin. If anything, that might be giving them more momentum. It's like, hey, I know we're losing really hard right now, but remember when we won, right? And why? I can kind of understand it, but that doesn't mean
it just feels like no one reads these reports. This is for the wonks.
Yeah,
this is for our content. They cucked our content basically because no one gives a fuck.
I think you're right about that. Yeah. But that's why I feel like it's kind of absurd to be like, well, we need to be forward looking. It's like, really? I mean, is this really going to foster some kind of big divide in the party right now? Like that just doesn't seem likely. There's been 5, pretty prominent postmortems of 2024. And, none of the results are particularly surprising or controversial, I think.
Well, I mean, it's also like a guy said, and I'll admit that someone super chatted me. I hadn't heard of it until today, so I don't think most people are going to talk about it.
Yeah. Pisco's right about that. But I mean, like, it gives people opportunity to be kind of conspiratorial. Like I saw a few people posting about how, oh, they're not doing that because clearly this was all about Gaza. Like they did a.
What if it is, Hutch?
I mean, maybe we've seen some polls to indicate that like Biden voters that voted in 2020 but sat out 2024 for Kamala. Like I think majority of them were motivated by disgust with our policy in Gaza. So
I think if we are intellectually honest, I have always said, right, my position has been the Gaza issue was marginal in this election. That that the left came home for Democrats by and large, with some exceptions. But if there were evidence that would suggest otherwise, I would want to see it. And I think that is what it means to be intellectually honest. And so maybe there's some feeling that like we're in a good streak in terms of polling. But I just think that we need to be confident and robust enough to weather these kinds of storms, like reports that no one reads. And I don't like that it feels like we're always playing scared. Like we're thinking in a very, to put it in terms that we all appreciate, scarce mentality. And we need to be thinking in abundance about what possible benefits there could be to, I don't know, assessing our mistakes. And so that's the only thing. I don't really think it's that big of a deal, whatever. We're all going to move on. But it does make me a little queasy that we're still in this kind of like, oh my God, please don't release something that could change the narrative. And like everyone's focused on the Epstein shit right now.
Yeah.
That's a good transition. Should we talk about the Epstein or rather the lack of Epstein?
Yeah, we got about 20 minutes just for people in chat now. We got it. LonerBox said he was going to join us about an hour late, so he's going to be here in 20 minutes or so. Did you send him the link, by the way, or do I need to do that?
It's the same link as every time. So yeah, if you send him the link that we have.
Okay.
But yeah, so we got the Epstein release Friday, thanks to the Ro Khanna Massey bill. 100,000 jillion pages of black squares. So black squares are really, not looking good this, PR season, I guess. Someone's coming after those black squares.
Beautiful. It's just a beautiful situation for Dems and a beautiful situation for Thomas Massey and for Ro Khanna. They have really just boxed the Trump administration into a corner because, and I kind of analyzed this before, there's no winning scenario. Everyone already assumes misconduct and lack of trust by the administration. Otherwise, he wouldn't be here, right? If people trusted the Department of Justice, we would just be talking about investigations or charges. But the whole point of having to release the documents to the public is precisely because no one trusts the Department of Justice. And so add that like initial starting set of lack of trust to now sketchiness on what they release and then take away, the sheer lack of the substantial quantity that they're releasing compared to what's the whole population, the fact that they're self-admitting that there are going to be more dumps, presupposing violations of the law, the fact that already there seems to be different standards applied to some public figures versus others. And
did you see
the
Bill
problems with the
Clinton
redactions
came out today and said, hey, they should
release them all,
of
release all the stuff related to me, don't do it on my behalf. And so this entire thing, there's no winning solution for Trump. If there's evidence of broader criminality, it will necessarily implicate the administration. They don't want to find that. Why don't they want to find that? Because if they find that, that means you covered it up, right? If they find substantive criminality, it means this entire time it's the worst crime ever been conducted by your administration. So they don't want to find it. And if there's nothing else there, everyone's going to ask, well, then why were you so cagey? And there's no good answer.
I got a super chat like that pertained to the previous topic. I just want to say real quick. Daz Vidani said, what if the report just reiterates that voters thought the Dems moved too far to the left? How upset would the left flank of the party be? That's plausible too, for the record. And if that's the case,
we should know that.
If that's the case, then maybe it kind of makes sense. Now I'm doing a 180 here, but yeah.
Well, now you don't want it to come out?
So now that it might hurt the lefties.
I just no, because I think when the lefties get upset, it's like more intense. I could be massively biased on that one, but
wait, it's more intense in a bad way. Therefore, we shouldn't upset them. You mean?
No, I don't. Who gives a fuck? There's literally been like 5 post mortems that have come to that conclusion to one degree or another. But
just to build on what Pisco was saying, I think Pisco, what you're implying is that the reason why they would look shady as hell if they didn't charge anybody before is because they put out that 2-page memo on July 7th saying investigation's done, no one else is being charged. But you know
And
what
there's
they're
no
saying now?
explanation.
Now, no, there is. Their new explanation is new information has come forward. New victims are coming out of the woodwork every day. This is what they're going to do for the next 3 years. They're going to say a new victim has come out. We're investigating. Got to take our time, guys. And they're going to do this for 3 years.
Oh, but Guy, did you see they one of the photos they forgot to redact was the drawer full of photos of Trump and women, which they then
Right.
took down, which is like, okay, wait, hold on. Why
Yeah,
would you
why
take
do
it
that?
down if it was already up? And obviously the answer is because they forgot to redact it. But I forgot who said it on the news. He's like, well, we found out that some of the girls might be potential victims that we want to protect. And it's like, are you
Well,
implying
They did put it back up for the record.
It's
I think they
either
did.
or.
they did put it back up? Well, because what he said was
They
like, they asked then, are you implying that the victims are with Donald Trump in these photos? And he's like, that's not what I mean.
It doesn't make any
Well-
sense. It doesn't make any sense, that explanation. I think the more plausible explanation is they're taking it down because they're going to take a position that certain revelations of Trump are like against national security, or that there's some sort of criteria that implicates Trump. And if you leave Trump stuff out there, right, if you have a set of documents that pertain to Trump, if it's broad enough, if it's sweeping enough, then it might undermine their arguments that this is the rationale in which we justifiably need to withhold. Because remember, the law contains plenty of loopholes, actual loopholes, because it's a very, very broad disclosure law, but it contains some confusing loopholes. And it's kind of like it's almost like a devious law, because if he tries to take advantage of those loopholes, it's going to be suspicious as fuck. And it's going to cause a battle in the courts, which they're already previewing, the Democrats are previewing, in which Trump is ordering his DOJ to go to court to prevent further disclosures. How does that look? And so this entire thing, right, is premised on an upcoming legal battle in which Trump is going to be on the side of less disclosures, less revelations. He's going to be going to court to say, hey, don't release this stuff. And that looks even worse.
And this issue is still going to be relevant, I think, by the time we get to the midterms. And I think you're going to see Democratic candidates running on, hey, elect me so that we can take the majority of the House and then just do endless subcommittee hearings. Like, I'm so sure that we're going to see so many subcommittee hearings starting about a year from now, when the Democrats take back the House.
What did you think? Okay.
They'll establish a whole committee for the Epstein files, like the
100%. Yeah, they will.
Trust me. But to build on what Soy Pill was saying, it was actually the Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche that went on Meet the Press, the guy who interviewed Ghislaine Maxwell. And he said that the victims actually reached out to him to take down those photos of Trump. And then they post the photos with no redactions. It's like, dude, there's no world in which you're talking to the victims. You've never reached out to them. They've demanded to talk to you. So now he's created this bullshit line that there's a pipeline of communication with the victims, which is total nonsense.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say, though, the one thing I think if they run on this, Hutch, is this. I think Kamala had an answer to this, which was, why didn't you do anything about this when you guys were in power? And I think her answer was very like, not actually a bad one, which was like, well, we believed, like, you know, in not politicizing use of the DOJ to attack our enemies, and like, you know, like, it just didn't really make sense. But now that this is like the standard of like, hey, we need to release these, then yeah, let's do it, which I kind of buy. But like, how do you think the best way to counter the narrative of like, why is now the time?
But
why,
that is
not a smear.
I think we talked about this last week, but like the very fact that people are asking that question is a symptom of how Donald Trump has perverted the relationship between DOJ and the president. And Pisco, you agreed with me similarly
100%.
last week.
Yes.
It's just like, this is not a thing. Like, this was like, presidents were never like, it's just so openly corrupt, obviously, to go into DOJ documents and release them to the public selectively to try to hurt somebody politically. So to answer the question, why didn't Biden and Kamala do this? It probably never fucking crossed
They weren't
his
read
mind.
in on it. They're not. Biden was not getting updates and communications about Epstein because he wasn't involved in the day-to-day of the Department of Justice. That's part of the reason why I continue to defend Merrick Garland to the chagrin of many people. I think that's a pretty lib take of me to defend Merrick Garland. A lot of people don't agree with me, is because there was an independence and there was a disconnect between what the White House was doing and what the department was doing. But separate to that, right? And this might hurt you guys to hear, the Epstein stuff just wasn't as important to Democrats. They didn't run on it. And my guess is that the fact that the Trump MAGA movement has the Epstein file saga as a core myth, a core conspiracy as part of their broader global pedo conspiracies, right? That there's a cabal of globalist pedophiles that run the whole world. That might have something to do with a greater urgency to do Epstein related stuff. And now that that's been brought to the forefront, of course, Democrats are not hypocritical in pursuing that if there is an express public interest in it that has now, breached and become totally ubiquitous.
Well, it's not that we didn't care. It's that we had confidence that Biden's DOJ was investigating. I mean, this is my argument when people tell me, well, why didn't Biden release the files? As far as we know, there was an active investigation all the way through Biden's administration. They could have been on the verge of indicting people, including Trump.
No,
and
he
Trump killed the
prosecuted.
investigation on July 7th.
No, he prosecuted Ghislaine Maxwell. Like that's what the whole
That's true too. We brought new charges against Ghislaine Maxwell for perjury, in fact. But yeah, we put her in prison. But again, for all we know, the investigation was heating up and was getting close to indictments by the time Biden left office. Who knows? But to back up what you guys said, Kamala said in an interview with some late night host, I don't remember who it was, but she said the reason why we didn't release the files is because we were not involved. We had distance between the DOJ and we respected the independence of the DOJ.
Yeah.
So we didn't demand they just release stuff about Trump or anyone.
Here's what I think. I think if there was evidence of broader criminality, I think it's probable they would have brought cases. My guess is in there, there's embarrassing and maybe partial evidence of crime, but just not enough to sustain a charge beyond a reasonable doubt.
I was going to say,
that's my guess.
This is like, well, this doesn't prove anything, but this looks awful, right? This is the one of the documents that came out. It says, during one of Doe's encounters with Epstein, he took her to Mar-a-Lago, where he introduced her to its owner, Donald Trump. Introducing 14-year-old Doe to Donald Trump, Epstein elbowed Trump playfully, asking him, referring to Doe, "This is a good one, right?"
Yeah.
Trump smiled and nodded in agreement. They both chuckled, and Doe felt uncomfortable, but at the time was too young to understand why. Like, this is not proof of any criminality, but like, gee, I wonder what that means, right?
Yeah,
like, what could that possibly mean?
I don't know that it's a federal crime to like leer in a creepy way at a 14-year-old. Now, is it creepy and fucked up and wrong? Of course it is. But could you, on the base of that, sustain a federal charge? I doubt it. There's probably a bunch of shit like that in there. Yeah. And I understand the DOJ has a policy not to release this kind of stuff. Should there have been a special counsel? I think there should have. I think there should have been a special counsel and that kind of stuff, but it wasn't a priority of the Department of Justice the way it is now. And it certainly wasn't a political priority for the Democrats in the White House to interfere in the, how the department manages its affairs. And that was up to the department, and that was a line that they didn't want to cross.
Why do you say it wasn't a priority for the DOJ? We don't know, right? I mean, is that unfair to assign
a special counsel to basically run down every conspiracy, right?
That's fair.
And I think that there should have been some assessment, because there is a public interest here, because these things have been festering, and there is, I think, a good reason for our government to respond to public sentiment in these kinds of cases and let us know, okay, what happened? Why didn't you charge? And in a special counsel type situation, you would see those kind of like declination decisions, those kinds of, why we did this, why we didn't do that. That seems like it would have been appropriate, something I would have supported. But Biden, it wasn't a big interest for the White House to get involved. Well, and there probably isn't enough for substantive criminality for broader.
I just want to say that, like, look at Matt Gaetz's case. We had incriminating evidence, the Venmo transactions, we had eyewitness testimony, and still wasn't enough to bring a case. So you got to really have a lot of evidence to bring charges. But I agree with you guys. I don't think Trump is implicated in those. Maybe you guys disagree, but I don't think he was implicated. But I think there might have been some evidence that he did something, or he damn well knew stuff was happening and he's been lying about it the whole time.
I mean, I think to what Pisco said, like, I think if they had found significant evidence of criminality and the statute of limitations had not passed, I think Garland's DOJ would have probably brought charges.
Sure. Because think about it. Why did they charge Epstein again? Like, if this was just a massive cover up, why charge Epstein in Trump's term, right? Why charge Trump? Sorry, why charge Epstein in like 2018, 2019? Why do that? If everyone's in on,
it did cause problems for Trump. His labor secretary, Alex Acosta, had to resign in shame over it. Yeah.
And that is because, believe it or not, in the first administration, there was more of a separation between the department and the U.S. attorney's offices. Like, looking back at the first Trump term, you're actually shocked about how, wow, even though it was like galactically inappropriate how Trump tried to interfere in the first term, you start to be like, this was very respectful the way Trump was, like, letting the SDNY run their investigations, not like, even though he tried to fire Mueller multiple times, not actually doing it. It's just on a whole nother level right now. And like you said, Hutch, we've come accustomed to now after like 8 or 9 months to the total politicization of DOJ, and we're applying back in time those same intuitions that we have now based on the corruption that we've seen in the last 9-10 months.
It's really bad. It's really bad when the public broadly loses faith in institutions and it serves Republican interests. And it just so happens in this case is backfiring, but it definitely benefits corrupt individuals like Trump for people to think that everything is equally corrupt and there's no point in, expecting accountability or consequences. But
how you get these cults where you all coalesce into trusting just one person because everything else is a sham. And even though there's all the contradiction and lies come from that person too, somehow they're like the infallible, fixable guy that's going to cut through all the swamp.
I will say the one dynamic that it causes me to be the most suspicious of what Trump does is what everyone has already observed, which is they have made a calculation that this drip situation is preferable than full transparency. And so that should be in everyone's head. That's like the kind of like stop before me saying that there's no evidence of Trump's misconduct at all in that sense is that dynamic. If it were the case that there's nothing bad there about Trump, why is he taking the stance that he's taking?
It's the Hutch's thing, the Mr. Magoo, what did you say, Hutch? You're like, what is this like? If Trump isn't guilty, why is he like stumbling over himself, making him look as guilty as possible?
Yeah. Right, and it didn't just start now, right? It started even in the campaign because people say he ran on this promise. He did technically run on this promise and his surrogates, but when he was asked directly about it, everyone knows he was a little bit more cagey. He adds a qualifier here, a qualifier there.
Maybe not that one. Maybe not that. Maybe not
yeah.
But go ahead, guy. You were trying to say something?
Well, I was going to say, this is blatant disobeying the law. It's been hard to nail Trump down on things. I think the TikTok ban is another one where you can go, he's just violating the law. But this is just straight up not following the law. They give him 30 days. That expired on Friday. He says, oh, it's so many files. We don't have time. That's what Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche said. We need more time. That wasn't part of the rules. And
that's not what the law says.
I don't think Congress would have passed a law and Trump sign it that they were incapable of complying with. They would have raised some concerns. We need a little more time than 30 days. Can you make it 60 days, 90 days? Never brought that up. And for Trump to sign the law and then violate it is just next level.
I will say, though, it is impossible. The task is impossible. I'm going to tell you right now.
Yeah,
like
I agree.
The 30-day, that's why this law is so devious. It's almost like they created the perfect weapon against it because you can say there are a lot of flaws in the law, but it is totally impossible to comply with. It says any document related to Epstein. And as someone who has done document review, has done redactions before for privilege, done redactions before for responsiveness, to go through hundreds of thousands of documents in 30 days for a production to the general public, that it is impossible given the scope of what is done there. So I agree that that's what the law says. And I am totally fine with Congress moving to impeachment and violations of the law, but just understand it is a devious as fuck law, and I do think it's practically impossible to comply with.
But Pisco, like, I don't think Congress would have like come up with this 30-day deadline if they didn't think it was practical and possible to comply, because they would have consulted with DOJ. I don't think Massey and Ro Khanna are playing around. I think they talked to people at DOJ. They have a line of communication to Pam Bondi, and I think that that everybody was on board that this is possible to comply with. Do you disagree?
I think that it's I don't think that it's practical to expect that the DOJ could have gotten through all those documents on some readings of the law, right? Because here's one of the major problems with their disclosures. They haven't like disclosed internal comms of DOJ and the charging decision, like communications. That is a big part of what we want to know is like what was DOJ was thinking, and they haven't even started to comply with that. Some accounts I think have like this is like a couple percentages of the total documents. And I just do think that this is a monumental task on plausible readings of the law. So maybe they thought it was doable, but in terms of what the kind of task this is, it's a big task.
How do you figure though? Because Comey's team, which was a pretty small team at the FBI, it was like a team of like 7 people, 8 people. They went through like 50,000 of Hillary's emails during the
Yeah, but-
Anthony Weiner thing in like a week, and like less than a week, right?
Here's differences. Difference number one, they didn't have to produce those documents to the public, so no redactions to apply. Okay, so number one, no redactions. And remember, if you're doing redactions on different iterations of chains, right, different email files, you want to make sure if you're making a redaction decision that it's consistent, right, throughout the different versions of whatever document you have. So you have the version control issue problem that is only present when you're producing documents either to another party or to the general public. You don't want to have inconsistent redactions. So you need to communicate every time you do that. Additionally, there was a lot of the Anthony Weiner documents were the same as the previous sets of documents. And so they can look back and try to make the work a lot easier and streamlined by looking at what they previously did and using software actually sometimes to make sure that there's no dupes. If you have ever used Relativity, the lawyers in the chat will know what this is. They have software systems that are able to dedupe and look at stuff. And so it's a lot more manageable a task when you don't have to worry about redactions and public facing disclosures. And when the version control issues aren't appearing, smaller universe of stuff. And so, yeah, that's why it's one laptop as opposed to every server in the DOJ. Just
as a random aside, it's totally random. Go to the Discord, Soypill, and just put that picture up on the it's one of the funniest tweets I've ever seen in my fucking life.
Oh no.
Did you see this tweet?
Yeah, hold on, let me see if I can.
I don't even know what it means.
There it is. Share.
On.
Your name is Germania and you claim to be from Latin America. When did your family immigrate? 1945?
So like I guess she's a Venezuelan critic of the Maduro regime. And so he doesn't like her for that, but like in his mind, yeah, like is everybody named Jordan or Chad? Like from Jordan or Chad? Like there's nobody in Germany named Germania. Like if you're in Germany, you're calling it Deutschland you're not calling it like one. This is a Latin American name.
I will,
Hutch,
I will say. So there are clubs in Latin American countries where Germans appeared called La Germania or Germania Club. And it's a reference to like a German club. So
that's
it
more
is
like
a word.
Argentina, right? Like how many Germans are in how many Germans?
I know the club exists. I'll just say at a bare minimum, that club exists in Peru.
But Germania isn't even the word for Germany in Spanish. It's Alemán, right?
I know. Yeah. So Alemán is the word for German, but there are clubs known as Germania. I know they exist. That's all I'm saying. Now that doesn't mean that what he's saying makes any sense at all, but I just wanted to put that out there.
That motherfucker.
Can I just say, I condemn Mike from PA.
There you go.
Wow.
Well, if we're stalling for LonerBox to hop in here, speaking of censoring, did you guys see? I got a super chat about this. The Barry Weiss CCOT 60 Minutes thing.
Apparently,
I read about it.
Apparently, it went live in Canada briefly, and then they took it off the air, and now it's being spread around the internet. Now it's out there. But
it's dangerous because I guess their excuse is that they didn't get an interview from the administration, so now it's a way to spike any story by saying, "Well, we didn't get the both sides. We didn't hear from the administration, so we can't run this."
It's the stupidest reasoning that doesn't make any sense. So, this Barry Weiss person, you guys have heard of her. Total lightweight, total fucking. Just what are her skills? What has she ever done other than coin intellectual?
You are turning into Trump. What is happening right now? Like, like you hear yourself? Like, no, I'm not saying you're wrong, but it's just like Barry Weiss, total lightweight. What is she? We don't like her. Like,
no, but okay. So everything's ready to go, right? They haven't raised concerns with the stories. It's past legal compliance checks. It's past. The edits and all that stuff, and everyone's gun-ho. We're about to publish a story. And then at the last minute, she raises a bunch of concerns, which are like, has anyone asked if the administration feels bad that they send people to see caught? Like, bitch, this is the administration that is putting fucking Studio Ghibli versions of, deportations. They don't give a fuck. She's like, could we get Stephen Miller to talk about this and come and do an interview? Because we're not really advancing anything. How is it advancing the story to bring Stephen Miller in to just shit on immigrants for another 30 minutes? Like, we know Stephen Miller's perspective. So her objections make no fucking sense. It's clearly a lie. It's clearly done to help MAGA and Trump, and because of other concerns, perhaps related to mergers, perhaps related to other sorts of regulatory fears. And so, yeah, you shouldn't believe a word that Barry Weiss says. And she's doing exactly what everyone expected that she would do.
Was she the one? She was going to start a university. It wasn't Trump U, but there was like the intellectual dark web university with Barry Wise. It was like, what do you guys remember what this was?
Yeah, I think so. It's ringing bells. I don't remember the particulars, but
it was like the free speech university, some stupid crap, some like dumb stunt, like the concept of calling it PragerU in the first place. So like she's already, ideologically captured. And the fact that she's now like running CBS is insane.
This is a quote from Barry Weiss. Last month, many outlets, most notably the New York Times, exposed the horrific conditions at CCOT. Our story presents more of these powerful testimonies, and putting those accounts into the public record is valuable in and of itself. But if we're going to run another story about a topic that has been now much covered, we need to advance it. Among the ways to do so, does anyone in the administration or anyone prominent who defended the use of the Alien Enemies Act now regret it in light of what those Venezuelans endured at CCOT? What the fuck? Do you really think that is like a way to advance the stories, to ask them, hey, do you guys feel bad? Do you really feel bad?
Imagine
they
Stephen
love
Miller getting
it.
up there. And, guys, after careful review, I've seen some photos of CCOT and we're reversing policy. Yeah. It's absolutely awful there.
Well, somebody that worked... Go ahead, Guy.
Well, just using, are they going to regret using the Alien Enemies Act? No way. That's
no
definitely
way,
not.
Well, speaking of which, did you guys see a federal judge ruled that the deportations based on the Alien Enemies Act were unconstitutional? That just happened like within the last hour and a half.
I did not see that. I need to cover that.
Add it to the list.
I don't know if there's an injunction situation going on there. Weren't federal judges?
They can only do it for certain areas, their region that they oversee. So if so, it's only going to be for a certain area of the country.
This must be Boasberg for people who...
Boasberg is pissed. That dog isn't letting go.
No, yeah.
He's the one who oversaw the flights not getting turned around in the very beginning. He's pissed
that
about
guy,
that.
Emil Bove, that guy's a circuit judge now. That guy's like a court of appeals judge.
Yeah, he's nuts.
We got to get him a little flotilla so he can fly or swim under the planes, and so that he'll
be on the Supreme Court.
Him
and Aileen Cannon are going to be the next Supreme Court justices, guaranteed.
I think that we should, as a punishment, we should create a pathway to get some of these officials to go to CCOT just for like 5 days. Okay, just as like a scared straight program. just for 5 days.
Gavin takes over. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, 5 days. 5 days.
Okay.
If you were part of this shit, you get to go to CCOT for 5 days. Scared straight.
Yeah, sure.
But we have to do like the plastic surgery to like put the fake gang tattoos on them so they get treated like everyone else there.
We'll claim we made a mistake, Pisco. Whoops.
Oh, yeah, administrative error. Oh, actually, you can't order us to bring you back.
Yeah.
Just so you guys know, LonerBox said he's going to be a few minutes late. He should be getting here any minute now, so keep an eye on the backstage.
He's 66 minutes late, to be clear. So,
but going back to the 60 Minutes thing, there was actually somebody who worked on the piece who sent an email to staff at CBS, basically saying that the piece was spiked for political reasons, and of course that leaked immediately. And so, there's significant internal strife going on right now. Is Barry Weiss going to? Is she long for this world in terms of CBS? Like, is she going to stay in that position? I mean, I feel like, she hasn't really been crushing it yet.
Because OAN and Newsmax are totally just, journalistic integrity 5 stars, right? Like, it doesn't matter.
Who owns CBS that made that decision?
Larry Ellison's son is running the conglomerate Paramount or whatever that bought CBS and is loving it. And Larry Ellison is a close confidant of Trump. He's like second richest man in the world. So no, they're thrilled, dude.
This was all about like the licensing deal, right? Like because they needed the approval from the admin. So like this could be, well, not forever, but this is pretty permanent until the admin switches up, right? So
okay.
Has Trump been a little quiet in the last few days?
No,
well, he wasn't at Amfest. But he does daily.
No, he does daily announcements. Like
what did he announce this a couple days ago?
He did something today. Last week he what did he? He did
rescheduled marijuana.
We didn't even. Oh, that was actually
last week.
That's actually good, right?
We didn't even talk about his fucking presidential address. That was literally just a fucking
god
rant like a Fox News
defend
rant
fuel.
that we've
I didn't
heard
even watch
1,000
it.
times.
That's right. Well,
Not
because
boring.
everyone was
Watch
so
it?
ready for it to
No.
be like, we're going
War
to war
with
with
Venezuela.
Venezuela.
Yeah,
And when
yeah.
it came out and it was just like, the Trump
We added
hour.
20 trillion to the GDP, like everybody, it's just like literally just the same rant we've heard 1,000 times. Like
Yeah.
that was the best example of this could have been a fucking email that has ever existed in the history of that phrase. It was bananas.
Well, even then though, did he not today just announce that there's going to be land strikes in Venezuela? What we've seen is like the 3rd oil tanker now, I think. So we are gearing up for it. He just
We're
didn't have to announce
pursuing it. We're pursuing. I don't know what that means, but we're chasing it for some reason.
But we're just following it around.
LonerBox kind of
Yeah.
thinks these are based. I think he thinks they're
They
gonna
won't
be
let us
based.
on. I guess. I
Wait,
don't know.
he thinks chasing the Venezuelan oil ship is based?
I
Wait, yeah, let's
think
just
that-
talk him right before he comes on. This is good. I like this.
I think we should ask him his position on it. I think
Mm.
he is sympathetic to the ultimate aim of trying to box Iran in a little bit and to stress the importance of the sanctions regime. That's my
Loner?
good faith take. Yeah, I think
Oh,
that
wait.
he's more
Oh,
sympathetic to that.
interesting.
Wait, we'll have him on and say it, but because since he's not here yet, I forgot about this. Do you see that? Do you guys remember Trump? There's so much stuff happens. Trump is doing like a Hunger Games. We're gonna get all the best athletes. Getting all the best athletes in every state and bringing them together.
There's
The
punishment.
Golden Games.
This is silly. And Brad
What's it
Palumbo
called?
did it.
The Patriot Games.
Brad Palumbo actually did probably Patriot Games. Yeah, that's a Tom Clancy novel. But Brad Palumbo
Great
did a
movie.
good video talking about it, where he's just like, the difference between this and Hunger Games is that you don't get murdered if you lose. Like
Yeah.
it is pretty silly, but yeah.
Well, it is.
It's
It is different.
2 kids from every state competing in some games or something, right? For the 250-year anniversary.
I mean, California's
Oh
gonna
yeah, you're right. That is
fucking
what this is.
dominate.
I hope we send a trans athlete to represent it.
True. Yeah.
Well, you say California's going to dominate. It depends. What if it's like a corn husking competition? We don't know what the games are going
Oh
to be.
shit!
I mean, there's
They
40
got
million.
corn, don't they?
There's 40
They gotta
million.
have corn.
There's fucking 40 million people in California. So, the odds of us having a better athlete than someone in Wyoming,
True.
it's like a population of 300,000 or something like that. Like, yeah.
Hutch, if Gavin Newsom asked you to serve your country and his administration, would you say yes?
No, I would not.
You
Gavin
wouldn't serve in the Newsom administration?
Gavin
No.
Newsom?
Are you kidding?
Like,
I fucking
Hutch,
love
we
my
want you to
job.
be press secretary.
Why would I
That
ever
would be
do that?
fun.
Why would I do
Duty,
fun.
bro. When your
No.
government
Your
calls,
duty.
you answer.
Yeah, do you
Yes.
skip jury duty, Hutch?
Well, I've never served jury duty. I've never been called. Like I had to do. I
That's
did check
good,
in. I've been called, but I had to check in like 5 days in a row. They didn't need me. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Wow.
same for me.
I got thrown off my last jury duty. I got to the questioning, and I was the first person they threw out of the box.
You said all cops are bad just right away without prompt.
I don't trust
I
cops.
did have bad interaction with the justice system when I was a kid because I got arrested a couple times for weed and running naked through a sizzler, and I didn't like the way I was.
Wait,
treated.
whoa. Let's skip past that like it's a
Whoa,
casual drop.
whoa.
What?
Well, who hasn't done stuff like that? Come on, you didn't run naked through a restaurant when you were a kid?
Never.
Wait,
Why were you
stop.
naked?
Are you being dead serious right now?
Yes, I've been arrested 3 times, and the
For running naked? in
second
a-
or third
in a
time was for
Sizzler?
running naked through a sizzler.
Was it just a dare or something?
A sizzler or a
It was like
sprinkler?
it was part of a rush for like a high school fraternity. It was one of the things we did, run naked through random places, and that
That
was one of
seems very irresponsible. Jesus Christ.
Was that before or
I
after
was a
the
trouble
pretty,
kid.
pretty Fly music video?
That would have been just
I
before
was
then,
a
right?
troubled teenager. Thankfully, I turned it around.
But you heard it here, guys. If you want to get out of jury duty, you know what you have to do.
My dad's a
talk
cop.
shit about the system. Yeah, they'll throw
Well,
you
I was
off the
gonna say run
jury.
naked through a
instantly.
sizzler, but also then talk shit about the system. Yes.
My dad is a cop, so I don't think I would ever be allowed on the jury.
Well,
you
when
would
you
be
get on
allowed
it,
in a sizzler.
when you get questioned for the jury, they'll ask you in front of everybody, has anybody been arrested? And you have to raise your hand in front of everybody, and they're all looking at you outside in the hallway weird now, and you don't get to explain it in front of
Yeah, you
anybody.
don't
They'll
get
call
to say
you
why you were arrested.
you don't get to explain why. You just say, have you been arrested before? And you have to raise your hand, and then everybody
What
in the
did they
hallway
cite you
staring at
with?
you.
Was it like indecent exposure or some shit?
They did not even. They took me to the station and called my parents. I was just detained, But it was
Like,
indecent
I will
exposure.
never serve on a jury. You motherfuckers. are
Well,
racist.
they did charge me for marijuana possession those 2 times. I got
Wait,
thrown out of
whoa,
the whole
whoa.
school district.
Where was it? You were naked.
What? Where was
That
I
was
naked?
the marijuana. How did you
Sizzler.
possess marijuana? if you
No,
were naked?
marijuana was separate.
Oh, okay. I was.
We
gonna say-
We did crazy shit, but We never ran naked through a fucking Sizzler. That is pretty hardcore. Like Jesus.
What is
Hutch
Sizzler?
was going
I
to
don't
say
know what a Sizzler
booger or
is.
some sort of nickname and had a slip of the tongue in the jury duty interview, and they said, "I don't know, buddy."
Bro, I got so close to saying it.
He
Jesus.
had a Larry David moment.
We used to go like, you know, those, like, what's the opposite of like a speed bump where it's like a speed dip, like it dips in the road, you know?
Dip, yeah.
We used to go to this, we found it, we called it, I think we called it the dip. I don't remember what we called it, but we would pack 5 deep in my buddy's Ford Festiva, which if you don't know what the kind of car that is, it's like basically like a tiny aluminum can. Like it's a really small, tiny car. And we used to hit this dip, and it was just like in a residential suburban neighborhood. And he would hit the dip going about 70 miles per hour, and we would get airborne. And when the car landed, sparks flew out. One time the brakes didn't work all the way, and we ended up all the way on somebody's fucking front lawn who was doing his dishes and saw the fucking whole thing happen. Yeah, anyways. LonerBox, welcome.
What a time to jump in.
Hey guys.
LonerBox. How's it going?
Thanks for having me, guys.
Happy Christmas.
There, now you're allowed to say it, Pisco. Now you're allowed to say it. Happy Christmas. Man.
Happy Boxing Day.
Happy Boxing Day. Happy Christmas. How's it going?
Are you happy that Anthony Joshua beat the fuck out of Jake Paul?
Yeah, woke is back, isn't it? I have no idea if the other guy's woke, but that's what I was told.
It is back. It's very much back. Because also Andrew Tate got his fucking his face was just blue, bro. It was blue.
I'm just like, yeah, what the fuck? I love fighting sports now.
LonerBox, I think a lot of people in the community are familiar with you, but why don't you introduce yourself? Who are you? What do you do? Where can people find you? We'll do this at the end as well, but you know, who is this guy? What's going on?
I'm LonerBox. I'm a YouTuber. Okay, I talk about politics sometimes.
You play WoW? How tall are you? You seem tall.
I'm 6'2". Well, actually, I'm like TM 6'2", 6'2" TM, like a real one. You know when people say they're a height and then you meet them, like some people say they're 6'2", and you turn up,
it's a little wiggle room.
and you need to check your tail because you're short a few fucking.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I'm 6'3". I'm not 6'2", but yeah, that's crazy.
You're 6'3"?
Yeah, I'm not bragging, but I'm taller than you.
He's tall.
Yeah.
He's tall. Yeah,
Would you call yourself 6'4" when you had hair?
Oh, low blow.
That's fair. I brought that on myself. That's fair.
Loner, speaking of hair, you have a great set of hair. You have good hair.
Yeah, I think we all have good hair here, guys. Come on.
Well,
you right now, you just haven't brushed it today.
So, Loner, I wanted you to come on and be our consultant and tell us what's going on with fucking UK politics. What is the state of things? Apparently, Labour's not doing great.
It's all pretty.
You guys are fucked.
It's all pretty unprecedented. Yeah, we're used to having 2 very old school parties running pretty much everything, and now the polls can never decide who's in second place. First place is solidly the Reform Party, who are basically the closest we're going to get to MAGA and strange sympathies with Russia and anti-immigration and crack economic policy. So yeah, we're looking forward to it. They're probably going to be the largest party in the next election unless something big changes. That's where we are now. We're kind of unique in the UK compared to Europe because most of Europe has had, for the last 10, 15 years, they have been having this surge of far-right parties where they suddenly get between like 15, 20, 25% in the polls, and they start to maybe influence elections, or they can even get in power. The UK has resisted that for a long time, probably because the Conservative Party did a good job at kind of keeping them quiet. But then we finally caught up. So it looks like the next election, we're going to have our own brand.
Here's the galaxy brain maneuver. This is what you do if you're Starmer, all right? Get back into the single market tomorrow. All right. Get back into the single market tomorrow. And then it's a complete beautiful situation, right? Farage is fucked. And you just sandbag him if he gets in office with 6 more years of Brexit.
No, I agree.
Why is that not?
Yeah, Starmer's popularity. You're not ambitious enough. Starmer's popularity is fucked, and he keeps on trying to do mid-2000s, 90s normal politician things to get people to like him, like publishing a Christmas letter that he wrote to his son or some shit, like to make himself look relatable. No, yeah, he should do it. No, don't stop it. Going back into the single market, like raise taxes on the middle and upper class and fund cool social programs that everyone actually wants to see funded. Increase defense and help Ukraine more. Like do all the things because everyone's gonna hate you anyway. Like you might as well. You've got the majority.
Well,
Just go blast
Yeah,
it.
he should do Bidenomics.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, isn't his leadership on Ukraine giving him a big boost, or is that not what people are concerned about?
It's not giving him a big boost, no. Like we've had, no, it's not, because our most popular party in the UK is one where one of the members, who was actually quite close to Farage, was he was caught and is going to jail now because he was taking bribes from Russians for talking points.
Okay.
For talking
Nice.
points that were not all that different from talking points that Farage has given.
Well, I'm confused.
So-
It sounds like your country imprisons people for being Russian stooges.
Well, it was a bribe as a politician, so
Yeah, we
that's
just make them
kind of crossing a
bigger
line. Yeah.
Yeah, we just make them bigger podcasters and completely ignore it.
How
so.
quaint.
Hell
To,
yeah.
to what extent, if any, did Donald Trump's win boost reform in 2025? Did that have any impact?
Did Donald Trump boost them?
Yeah, by winning.
I don't know. I think he's maybe given people pointers on how to talk, because Reform have borrowed a little bit from Trump. But yeah, no, there are some things about Trump that are maybe a bit less popular here. Like the Russia thing is going to be a problem for Farage. The closer you get to Ukraine, the more uncool it is to sympathize with Russia. Basically, makes sense. But yeah, it's probably helped them a bit, but no, like Farage is tapping into something that's existed in the British population for a really long time. Like we're an old population, average age is like mid 40s. Farage speaks to the kind of like average British geezer like very, very closely. He is very. We still like to preserve the image of like British liberalism and Churchill and caring for refugees and all that, but also these boats going too far, you know, like, so he can basically push like a really aggressive immigration policy, but use all the rhetoric of having a moderate one. He talks very much to like the anti-bureaucratic sort of like homegrown philosophy, anti-intellectualism that's really popular in the UK, where he basically thinks that like his whole economic policy is to say that the government is full of useless, faceless bureaucrats and they're just bloating, and we need to come in and cut all the bloat. So their entire economic policy is we're just going to find 20 times more waste than everyone else. Doge. Yeah. Like they've been having this in their manifestos for 10 years. I don't even know whose idea it was first. But yeah, Farage is very much like presenting himself as the guy who's going to come in and kick out all the disconnected, like posh latte drinking, like desk fuckers, and get back to basics. And obviously, they've got councillors. They're in charge of councils right now, Reform, and all of them are raising council tax. So they come in and they realize that they can't. Yeah.
I don't know why we're talking about UK. We should be talking about Scotland, because you're Scottish, aren't you, Loner? And Scotland was very much essential to Labour's rise, right? Is them getting back a lot of the old constituencies that used to go Labour and went for the SNP, the Scottish National Party, for a while, partly because of the frustration with the Conservatives and the Tories, but also because of like scandals and bad shit from the SNP, right? So talk to me a little bit about how Scotland is doing. Are they going to swing Reform?
It's still in the air right now. We don't know. First of all, sorry, you're very much overestimating Scotland's say in the United Kingdom. So Labour, it's been a long time, I think, since Labour's actually depended on Scotland or even close to Scotland for their election victory. They've swept the first past the post system with or without Scotland. They did not need us for that. Obviously, they've regained a lot.
Okay, way to own me. Way to own me.
Sorry,
but
listen,
just
I just like to tell you
okay?
the facts, okay? Listen, Scottish politics is fucking boring, okay? We have a really good government in Scotland, or we have had, at least in the local way, because we have multiple elections in Scotland. We have the general election in the UK. We've got local elections. And local elections are split into two different kinds of seats, where you've got regional votes, and also which are much more proportional. And then you've got the first past the post votes for the members of Scottish Parliament. So yeah, and the result of that is that we basically always, unless a party is massively popular, we always have coalitions. And our coalitions, especially with the Greens and SNP, have been really good. Like we've managed to dodge a lot of the crazy austerity that happened under the Tories. We still have our free prescriptions. We have like free bus travel for everyone I think is under 21. And I think we have free dental care. Free dental care for under 26. Yeah. Our tap water is manna from the heavens. Yeah, we're doing all right, but obviously our future, again, we don't know. The SNP have had scandals. They've basically been the dominant party for a bit too long. They've been a bit complacent. Scottish independence is still their main platform, even though support for that has not really moved in 10 years. It was 45% 10 years ago when we had a referendum. I think last time I checked, it was 45%. So unfortunately, it's not really going to be up to us. If we're going to get dragged with wherever England goes.
I'm a bit jealous of you guys with the parliamentary system, because I feel like if America had a parliamentary system and the left flank of the Democratic Party had their own party and political identity, that would actually go a long way in alleviating some of that tension. Whereas, you guys, you form these coalitions, and I think it's easier to maintain an identity. I don't know if you have any thoughts on that, but like some people were pointing out, like, I don't know about like you guys, what your chats tell you, but my chat tells me all the time that like the Labour Party has like ran to the right. To what extent is that true? Have they given up a lot of their left-wing policies? Are they, too aggressively attacking the center, the center right? What's going on with Labour?
Yeah, well, obviously it's a combination of two things. One is that unfortunately in the 2019 election, for reasons that I think are not entirely his fault, Corbyn was just, his campaign was a disaster. He had like the biggest loss for Labour since 1935 or something. And then after that, Keir Starmer's solution was to basically purge everyone who was connected to Corbyn, sometimes with slightly valid reasons, sometimes with like the most trivial reasons possible. And then the result of that is, yeah, a lot of Starmer's road has just been to separate himself from that as much as possible. So on immigration, he's actually ceded about as much as you possibly can to the right wing without becoming a fascist, like as much as you can within reason. And so it's much harder to immigrate to the UK. A lot of work visas for entire sectors that we used to have open just aren't open anymore. A lot of loopholes. It's much harder to bring your family and kids if you're going to migrate, especially as a student, or your income has to be a lot higher. So they've done that on immigration. On economics, they've basically said that they would stay with Tory fiscal policy. So there's no ambition in terms of, he promised not to raise income tax. So now they're just trying to do like, well, there's like a mansion tax, which is a good idea, but it's not going to raise that much. So the problem is that unlike, I think, even Biden, there's not really any new and exciting economic policy that they can claim. There's just
he needs to break his promises.
Sorry?
He needs to break
He
his
does
promises.
need to break his promises, or he shouldn't have made them in the first place. Yeah. Like, yeah. He's less popular.
Like
he's less popular than politicians who did.
lie.
Yeah, he's less popular than politicians who did break promises. So why not? Hey.
Well,
yeah, no, it kind of feels like the Boris Johnson situation where he was just like blatantly lying everywhere, and it does feel like Boris is still in good standing among some members, or there are people who want to bring back Boris, right? I mean, I don't understand if he's hated, and there are even reports. I always see like news stories. Is Labour going to kick out Starmer? Is there going to be an internal coup? Because that's all it would take, right? Is like a no confidence motion or something like that. Labour could, if it wanted to, get rid of Starmer, but it just feels like that would be, I don't know, a sign, and a disastrous sign for Labour in the future.
Listen, unless you've seen something I haven't, I'm going to correct a bit of the disinformation again. Okay, Boris Johnson is fucked in terms of any popularity anymore, because
among conservatives,
the Conservative Party, maybe not. No, but instead, well, among conservatives who are going to, in terms of right-wingers who are going to decide the vote in the next election, yeah. The problem is that when we left the European Union, the Tories' migration policy left a lot of options that would have allowed just a massive number of people to come in, and also coincided with like 3 refugee crises, with Afghanistan, Ukraine, and Hong Kong. But like Boris Johnson, in terms of replacing the European migrants, brought in like new student visas, for example, which made it really easy for, they targeted mostly Nigeria and India. And it meant that if you came on a student visa, you could bring dependents. So most people who came in relation to student visas under Boris Johnson's new policy were the kids and spouses of students, which means that they're getting the NHS paid for, but the education is not getting paid for by the way. So yeah, we basically had like net migration of almost 1 million. So right wingers they call it the Boris wave. They call that migration wave the Boris wave. So he's gonna.
Oh, so they hate him for being too pro immigration.
He would have a hard time bouncing back from that. I mean, he's trying to blame like the bureaucrats. So maybe he'll find somewhere there, but I don't know. I think it's unlikely. I could be wrong. What else? Fuck. What were you asking me? I'm sorry.
That was it. We're just talking UK shit.
Okay.
I don't know. You guys talk about Epstein at all? I mean,
Yeah, you guys
does America?
you guys brought him on just to talk UK stuff. I'm sure he's got plenty of thoughts on what's going on here.
Yeah, I guess we were talking shit about your Venezuela. No, we just were curious of your takes on the Venezuelan oil tankers and the Maduro regime and all that.
Oh yeah, the tankers. Well, it's not. I don't think my take's that controversial on the tankers. Maybe Fisco disagreed. When it comes to like any military action, there's the act itself, and then there's also what broader goal is it in aid of, right? Like I can go to any random country and kill like 20 soldiers. It's like, okay, yeah, they're legal military targets, but it's like, okay, but why are you killing 20 soldiers? I don't know, just felt like it. Well, so obviously, like when it comes to Russian, in terms of the tankers, they've already kind of gone against this principle because the second, I think there's been 2 more seizures since the first one, right?
Yep,
or at least one.
Apparently, the third one we're following. Is that right, guy? We're just following.
Yeah, they're following a ship. Yeah,
my chat told me they gave up, but yeah, they were just following one of them.
Okay. Well, we were following it.
Yeah, I mean,
we were following it.
I have nothing against European countries or the United States going after the Russian shadow fleet. You can say it's against maritime law, or that maritime law is kind of vague on what you can do there, but I actually don't care. I think that Russia is exploiting that law.
Do you think international law is a meme and kind of like who cares a fuck?
No, I'll support like 95+% of measures that are of principles in international law. The problem is that what do you do when you've got Russia aggressing on a country that everyone basically disagrees with that action is completely unjustified, and then you can't do international sanctions on Russia because they're in the Security Council. So you've got nothing else other than individual nations that can do their own sanctions, but then they can only enforce them definitively within their own wars, and even then that has legal problems, as has happened in Europe. So when I'm seeing this like Russian shadow oil fleet that is basically like there to fund the Russian war machine to invade Ukraine, like if someone catches that ship and impounds it, and yeah, I don't care. I think it's
wait. Can I ask though to clarify, Pisco? Is the implication that the Trump regime is being vehemently anti-Russia, pro-sanction, where they can
right,
with this, or is it? Because I would not believe that is their intent, even if that might be a side effect of what.
Oh yeah, that's the caveat, right? Like the policy goal is it's nothing to do with Russia, right? The policy position is to fuck with Venezuela, which I don't support at all.
Yes.
So yeah.
Right. So I'm someone who cares. Go for it, Ira.
Well, no, you had a thought. Please go ahead.
I was just going to say, like, I care a lot about actual motivations, and I fucking hate pretext. And so maybe I would hear you that, like, international law, just a meme. And maybe I'll hear you that, it's not settled under U.S. law, the extent to which some of these treaties are self-executed. Maybe I'll hear you that it's not settled whether the U.S. has jurisdiction, and so we might as well try. Maybe I could hear all that if I actually believe the motivation that was underlying this purported action, which is if we really cared about the aggression from Russia, we should start first by doing things that are very clearly legal and within our authority, such as giving unrestricted amounts of aid to Ukraine and supporting them in their diplomatic efforts. And the Trump administration has shown no desire to truly, truly help Ukraine the way it deserves to be helped. And on that basis, I view, and you do as well, that these actions are just pretext to warmonger with Venezuela, an action that I'm against. I'm against that stuff. And I'm against also the bombing of Iran. And so given that, I'm not in support of it as a policy matter, even if I took the view that international law or maritime law were just memes.
Well, forgive me, but I think what you guys are saying is this is the Trump administration actually supporting the sanctions and taking action, because my understanding is these tankers are like Venezuelan oil that's going to Cuba, and also like Iran like are using them as well. Like I don't understand the Russia connection beyond just the Trump administration standing up for sanctions. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, can you elaborate on Russian shadow fleet?
Well, because
the tankers we boarded aren't Russian, part of the Russian shadow fleet, are they?
The first one was. It's owned by a guy it's owned by a guy called Artemov, I think his name is. Yeah, that's why it was sanctioned under the Biden administration, actually, because it was so the tanker, the connection is basically that Russia is sanctioned by so many countries that it can't go into the territorial waters of like European countries or the USA. But what they can do is they can have this fleet that is filled with ships that are registered to one country, but that country might not necessarily agree that it's registered to them, or they will have like devices on them that can scramble people's data so that they can't get tracked. And then they allow Russia to sell their oil. And also, as part of, because it's a fleet, they can also deal with other countries that are allies of theirs, like China and also Iran, because Iranian oil is also smuggled with this Russian fleet. It's blended with the oil, and that's why when it goes to Venezuela as well, there's like going to be some Iranian oil on there sometimes, and that's why that first ship, they said it was going to Cuba, but that wasn't its final destination. Its load was too big to go to Cuba. It was going to China probably, or Iran, Russia. I don't know why someone in who this real Kathy Doyle is in chat who's asking me why I support. I have never in my entire life supported the Venezuelan strikes on boats. That person's a liar. They lie to me all the time. So it's
busted.
Just a PSA. Real Kathy Doyle is a liar, a lying cunt. Ask them for evidence. Fuck off. Anyway.
All right. Well, she's
please don't be from my chat. Please don't be from my chat.
That's a good segue, because I wanted to ask you, lean into the slap a little bit. Why do lefties hate you more than like 1,000 other liberals that I feel like who espouse views that are more contrary to their cause, but for some reason they really fucking hate you, bro? Like, can you explain that? Like, when did that start? Because didn't you start with BreadTube? Weren't you like a pretty far lefty like BreadTuber at one point?
Socialist. You ever a socialist?
Yeah, I was a socialist.
I was a
Corbyn throwing. Yeah, I was an open
Are you a
socialist.
socialist still?
No.
Are you still a socialist?
No, I'm a social democrat now.
What? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
That's a kind of
listen, Hutch. I came here to talk. I came here to talk to my lib friends about lib stuff. Okay, we can do drama slop another time. Okay, I'm just saying.
I love this guy. I love this guy.
The answer is really simple, right? Like, it's a narcissism of small differences. People, like, the worst thing for any political extremist group or political radical is a traitor, right? Like, that's so obviously that's worse. Yeah.
Okay.
But LonerBox, are you not a leftist anymore?
I mean, I'm a left social democrat. Like, I still support co-ops. I still support I'm very liberal on immigration. And yeah. Well, fine. Yeah.
Wow. Let's chart your maturation or your, I don't know, the development of your views. What caused you to stop using the label socialist?
Few things. One is the European, you guys know this, the European American difference, right? I think you guys had this argument when you were talking about socialism in that panel.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you were oddly quiet. LonerBox, because there isn't that distinction.
I reacted to the whole thing. I wasn't on that panel. I was watching it. Of course I was quiet. Okay, I was on the panel. Disinformation from...
No. But what I'm saying is there is this notion of a socialist policy platform that members of the Labor Party were advertising as explicitly socialist.
Yeah.
And so when the Econo Boy was saying all that stuff, it was true. And you had people like Counterpoint saying, no, communism, socialism only means one thing, and it only means what we say. That's the only thing that's socialism. And I would defend you if you were to call yourself a socialist in the tradition of the UK.
Yeah, that's because in Europe we define these words differently. Like Clement Attlee is a really good example, right? Because he pushed the welfare state and all these very, very obviously liberal compatible policies, right? Because the UK didn't turn into a socialist country. I think the thing people miss there is that we've usually had, like, at least in the 20th century, we would have a socialist party like Labour, mostly funded by unions, as well as by like half and half unions and other donors. And then we would have communist parties. The Communist Party in the UK hated Clement Attlee, and he hated them. He hunted them down, actually. Yeah. The closest we ever came to McCarthyism in the UK was under Attlee. Lots of civil servants lost their jobs. Most of them were innocent because they were accused of Soviet sympathies or being communists. So that's the difference. In Europe, we have loads of socialist parties, but they're not socialist in the sense that they want to abolish capitalism. They're socialist in the sense that they are influenced by the ideas of Karl Marx and the reformism of, I forget, Bernstein, I think it is. They're social democrats. Yeah, they believe in tax and spend, like tax welfare spending.
It's like the same in Germany. They've got the SPD, the Social Democratic Party, and then they've got Die Linke, which is like the actual communist, and that's just, that distinction doesn't exist here. People are a little too brain rotted for it.
It does exist. It's just that, like in America, people who are social democrats call themselves socialists, but people are, or just American socialists are kind of confused because they're always both, right? They're revolutionaries, but then they're also, honey, I just want healthcare. So yeah,
yeah. You can find modern polls recently where it's like, it'll say that 40% of Americans or whatever think that the country needs more socialism, but what 99% of those people mean is like, government provided healthcare, stronger, more robust social safety nets. Yeah.
Well, Mamdani identifies as a democratic socialist. So would you say he's further left than you?
Probably for other reasons, but yeah, I guess my understanding is that the difference between a social democrat and a democratic socialist is that social democrats want welfare and some things to be nationalized and higher taxes, and democratic socialists kind of want the same thing but more, and also with a further goal of moving beyond capitalism completely. I think is the idea. There's more of a first principle there of decommodifying and ending the relation between labor and capital. So I'd imagine that's the difference. That seems to be. Yeah, they're usually further. Yeah.
I don't know. You guys tell me, but have the DSA always been this explicitly Marxist, or have they become more explicitly Marxist in recent years? Because I feel like the DSA that's around now is a little bit different than the DSA that kind of emerged in 2016 in the wake of all the Bernie stuff. Because when you look at, the more prominent kind of chapters of DSA, if you watch their conventions, I mean, they are like pretty explicitly Marxist, like across the board.
I can't say.
I'm so sorry to derail. Why is someone saying that I'm not a Mamdanite, but a Maronite, hence my views on Islam? Isn't that just... Wait, what?
I like
Am I racist just because I'm a Maronite?
Really
what's going on here? What's this Orientalist fucking...
Wait, who said it? Who said it?
Someone said that I'm a Maronite, hence my views on Islam.
We all know.
Who said it?
We all know whose chat this is coming from.
That's racism. Wait a second. Tell me the name. We'll get the name.
It's gone past. The chat's on fire.
Who did it? Everyone snitches will get benefits. You'll get a wrench if you snitch.
This is apeful creep. You're under the hot seat right now. LonerBox is calling you out specifically.
What the fuck is a Maronite? What is that?
It's a Lebanese Christian. They're like Catholics.
Catholic.
They love the French. Yeah, they're weird. But that's me.
If we find the person, if it's in my chat, who made a racist comment because of his, or I don't know, a religious discriminatory comment, you're gonna get banned. All right. So whoever said that,
Loner, what are your views regarding Islam?
I'm an atheist, so probably the same view that I have on Christianity and Judaism.
Let's talk a little bit about
good aesthetics, though. Good aesthetics.
Let's talk a little bit about like the perception of American politics, where in your neck of the woods. Obviously, when Trump won, there were concerns or fears that he had established these kind of permanent demographic realignments and sort of remade this brand new coalition that the Democrats would have a hard time contending with in the future. That has just utterly collapsed in the last year. But is that recognized in England? Do you guys still view as Trump as particularly strong politically, or what's the perception over there?
Well, first of all, I wouldn't know about England because I'm Scottish. The Trump...
I didn't say England. I said your neck of the woods.
You said England. You said England.
No,
rewind the VOD right now. Stop. No. Yeah, fucking... I don't know. Yeah, Trump is... I feel like Trump can only ever have so much influence on the UK. And I have a kind of like very subjective opinion on why, but I don't really... It's really hard to tell. Probably not, like the failure, like MAGA being in the problem that they're in now is probably not going to save us all that much, because they've never been in power. They're always going to be the fresh thing on the menu, right? Like, so, I don't know if it's going to affect them all that much. Farage has been quite clever at avoiding the Trumpisms that would get him into too much trouble. In the UK,
support for Brexit in the UK was almost like a reflection of the right wing rise in America, though. I know
yes, I think that was 100%.
Well, I think to build on what Hutch is saying is like, has the attitude about Trump changed? Like, is it the end of the world, or are people like, okay, that's not working out for Trump, he's getting owned in special elections? Like, what's the vibes?
It's hard to say, because I don't actually know how easily I can follow UK opinions on Trump. I don't know how often he comes up.
Like American politics a lot in your day to day, or do you focus mostly on your own internal?
We talk about it in day to day, but like on our political shows or things like what do you call it? Like on BBC Question Time and things like that. The US politics generally it's only ever spoken about quite broadly, I think. Obviously, when Trump won, that was a whole big thing in the UK, because it emboldened a lot of people that obviously are now...
Wait, it's not my chat. This guy's not in my chat.
Yeah, you got your apology, Loner. Don't worry. Just say no.
Got him.
You motherfuckers, gaslighting.
Whose fucking chat
This
is
guy's
it
not
then?
in my
Can't
chat.
be IRI. So
Maybe-
I
maybe-
I was trying to,
maybe
I was,
it
trying,
was
I was trying to police. I was
My
just
chat.
like, that's a strange thing to see in a chat. Anyway, yeah.
So basically, you guys are the Don Draper meme. You're like, I don't really think about you at all.
Oh, I mean, people do, but I just don't know how much how much it shows in our regular like political like broadcasting, because I mean it's also just because I don't watch as much of like I used to watch a lot of like BBC Question Time and like breakfast politics and stuff like that, but I've kind of strayed away from that a lot more recently, mostly just because living in Scotland, so much of what happens in UK politics, you have so little agency over it. Maybe that will change given how much more diversity there's going to be in the next election. But
Well,
yeah,
what about-
for now, it's very
your personal thoughts.
my
Like,
personal
you think
thoughts.
He's dementia Don, and he's falling apart, and he's not a threat.
Yeah,
or
my
what do you
personal
think?
thoughts is that it's absolute chaos. Yeah, it's total chaos. Yeah, like it's especially hard, I think, because I don't know. I think if Trump was maybe more of a concrete like ideological fascist, I mean, he is a fascist, but to be clear, but if he was more like he followed like all the rules of like what a fascist does, rather than flip-flopping between some of these like slightly more neocon hawkish positions and then the other populist fascists. I think because he's like that, and because the ideology of MAGA is much more the ideology of Trump than anything else, I think once he's gone, replacing him is going to be very, very hard. Because
okay, LonerBox, let's get the brass
Yeah.
tacks. Do you support Trump's Israel policy?
his Israel policy, no.
Why not?
Well, because he allowed Israel to block aid for what was it,
11
3
weeks.
months.
So you're
Oh,
a Candace
he-
Owens fan at this point.
Yeah, if it's Trump or Candace, that's a hard one. Okay, because I do
What
like
do you
B2
find the
bombers.
most,
You know, they look cool.
Can I ask, in terms of international policy, it does seem like that is a focus of your streams, and that you take the time to try to like get into the weeds there. From the perspective of UK or from your perspective personally, what about Trump's foreign policy do you find good? And do you think that Democrats should embrace, if anything?
What about it? Do I find nothing? Trump has no vision. He has
Nothing.
absolutely no vision. No. I'm trying to think.
I mean, the Iran strike were just
I think-
kind of an unequivocal dub for Trump, right? Like they.
Well, I think
Why?
the Iran strikes, like maybe, but again, I think with Trump, the only way that the Iran strikes work is if you're willing to do it when they try to rebuild and do the same thing again, which I think Trump, he might do, or he might not, because it won't be interested anymore. So I don't really know what the point is.
To try to do it again. It was
Yeah, well,
99
Israel's
up
going
to
to ask him when they're at Mar-a-Lago next week, aren't they?
Right.
Would you support that? Would you support additional strikes against Iran and maybe war?
It would depend on what Iran's doing. If they're doing the same thing as last time, yes.
Oh shit.
I mean, I don't know about you guys,
Pro-war.
but I feel slightly better knowing that their nuclear program was hampered, and you know what was the result of that? Like nothing. They did an inconsequential strike in Qatar or whatever, and then they gave us advance notice that they were going to do it. It was just purely symbolic to save face. So I don't know. I just feel like if we're just being optics cucked, that was just like incredibly good optics for him. Like there was just no downside for it, right?
Yeah, but the only reason he was able to even do this is because he sabotaged the nuclear deal that would have like prevented any worry about this in the first place. Which is like, yeah, okay, you maybe sort of fixed the mess that you created. Like, I don't know. Is it only optics cocked because everyone forgot about the nuclear deal that he sabotaged? Like,
nobody cares in
Well,
America.
I think the other problem is that the details of that nuclear deal were just not as good as I think people made them out to be. They were temporary, and if you look at the way that they were negotiated, especially from what the Ayatollah was saying, was that the whole point was to try and make it temporary. There were I can go into I don't remember the details from that long ago, but yeah, if you looked at what the Ayatollah wanted, the point of the nuclear deal was basically to stall Iran's nuclear policy, and especially with what the Ayatollah wanted was a lot of these whatever they're called. Are they called snapbacks or something, like the way that the sanctions worked in terms of responding to violations?
Trump could have negotiated something else.
He could have negotiated something else. Yeah,
and,
but the problem is
he could have extended it indefinitely. And I just think that we should be more principled with respect to, I don't know, Congress being the body that's supposed to declare war. They call it the 12-day war. This was engaging in war with another country.
To be clear, I don't. given the way that the Ayatollah was approaching the first JCPOA, I think it's probably unlikely that they would have been able to extend it indefinitely. It seemed that what Iran wanted was to stall and to buy enough goodwill to the point that they could get into just the same status as every other country when it came to nuclear non-proliferation, whatever the UN convention is on it. But then the problem with that is that would have made it much easier for them to sneakily go ahead and try to weaponize again, because obviously that's why they've always had, but they've been treated differently, right? It's because they did try to pursue a weapons program in like 2003.
It wasn't the only solution, therefore, LonerBox, to implement regime change in Iran, get rid of the Ayatollahs, and institute some kind of different style, pro-Western administration of that country.
No, just bomb the facilities whenever they start fucking with uranium beyond any civilian use.
But
just drop some busters in the holes like they did last time. Yeah.
Get the Top Gun jets going.
They'd have to do it every 6 months at this pace. I think we're, eventually we're going to get an announcement.
I don't know if they'd have to do it every 6 months. Like the problem is that I guess what happened, we still don't seem to know exactly how much damage was done to the first program. But also, right. I think the regime can only tolerate that for so long. The regime in Iran is deeply unpopular, and it seems like the result of those strikes has just made it worse for them. I think there was a PBS documentary about it not that long ago where they were talking about how it's already a trend now that people are going into especially Iranian women have started to just walk around the streets without their veils anymore, despite the fact that it's very illegal. And the Ayatollah says it's illegal all the time. And that has increased quite a bit as well, especially since the 12-Day War. And that's because the regime's legitimacy and the amount of appetite in Iran to defy them is just growing. So that regime is not going to last forever, and they're definitely not going to be able to fuck around forever in the way that they do.
There's a story, actually. Did you see there was a woman who took her veil off and ran through a sizzler?
I did not see that one particularly, no.
Yeah, that was a crazy thing. They arrested her for that, if you believe it.
She can't serve on the jury in Iran anymore.
Loner, what are the AI vibes in the UK, and do you personally use ChatGPT as an information aggregate?
I might use ChatGPT to get a thread. I'll be like, can you just tell me something that I can look up? And then I'll look it up. Man, I've caught ChatGPT just like they make up facts. I've done this on stream. I was asking them some stuff about the 48 War, and I was like, I got it to admit that it made it the fuck up. It was like, okay, yes, I made it the fuck up. I'm sorry, you're right to, but it's always like, oh, you're right to call that out. Or they'll quote a book with a page number, but then I go into the book and it's not on the page number. Then they'll say the edition. It's like, I'm looking at this edition and it's not there. I don't know why they do that, or like what possesses them to do that. But it's always the same. Or sometimes they'll quote a book that doesn't exist. I was like, oh, you're right to call that out. That book doesn't exist.
Rob Noor legit used it. I just had like a 5-hour debate with Rob Noor, and he legit live was using Grok and ChatGPT to define his sources and to provide like legal justification after he was already called out.
That's already backfired on him big time.
I know. With the Destiny Claude thing, and he did it to me again live, and like, please, why is peace go wrong about insurrection?
I think it's for me, it's like pretty reliable when it comes to like, if you want, like, because I like to look up sort of like election information, like what was the election in 1972 in Rhode Island or some shit. Like it's good at like really hyper specific information like that. But then when you start getting more abstract, it gets a little dodgy. Like I asked it about estimate Erica Kirk's net worth based on what she inherited from Charlie Kirk after he died. And ChatGPT was like, Charlie Kirk isn't dead. He's still alive. I was like,
oh, that's true though, because we are all Charlie.
Hell yeah.
You should have sent that to kind of so and that feed the conspiracy.
That's true.
That's a good one for the conspiracy.
Shit.
No, but like, are the vibes like very strongly anti-AI in the UK? Because here, bro, the youth, the kids, they fucking don't. At least online, they fucking hate AI.
Dude, I don't know. I think I think UK in terms of politics, like I feel like our public opinion is just completely dominated by the Council of Dads. The Council of Dads is
no.
Right. So okay, there's this whole there's this whole process that's observed, and not many people are aware of it. It's that, you know, when you're a kid and parents used to tell their kids people used to just speak shit, right? They would just say things and they become kind of like truisms, and you couldn't fact check them. And dads were like the worst offenders. They just tell you something at the dinner table, and then you're just like,
my dad, my entire life maintained that Keanu Reeves is gay, and I never looked this up. And then I Googled this like 2 years ago, and it's like, I'm 27. I'm like, Dad, you've been lying to me for 27 years.
You tried to hit on him.
I tried to hit on him, and he's like, sorry, I'm married. I'm like, whoa, what? Dad lied? But yeah, he just said
you're
this.
not gay.
Like, it was established fact. He wasn't like, you know, making a joke. It was just, yeah, Keanu Reeves is gay. Like, we'd be watching The Matrix during the sex scene. He's like, you know, Keanu Reeves is actually gay. This is all acting.
Yeah, I used to think like there was this whole, even just like little, I used to think that like Wales was not a country, like it's a principality, but like that was true until about 1500s. Yeah. But then the problem is that these dads got really fucking annoyed when kids started Googling their claims. And then they were like, wait, where'd you hear that? Oh, the internet. Oh, that new thing. Don't believe what you read on the internet. But now the dads have realized that the internet is unstoppable, and they've decided you can't beat them, join them. So now the Council of Dads runs the internet, and they make the Facebook memes, and then they believe the Facebook memes, and then the nation votes based on Facebook memes. We literally have it in the UK where most British people think that those small boats, you know, the small boats with the brown and black men on them, and then the majority of voters in the UK are, I think the average voter in the UK thinks that half of all of our migrants are from those small boats. The real number is 4%. The Council of Dads. That's what runs our country. It's just these geezers, these blokes who have just figured out a way to stop getting humiliated by their kids at the dinner table.
Ageism.
Yeah.
I mean,
we have a Josiah question right here. Loner, I'd like to ask you a Pisco style question. What's your favorite color? Yes or no? Loner, answer the question.
Wait, what was that? To me. Oh, sorry. My favorite color.
Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
I get it, because that question doesn't make sense. Because Pisco says yes or no. I get it.
Oh, wait.
I respect Pisco. Okay.
I have some rapid fire. Oh, I appreciate it, Loner. I respect you. I have some rapid fire questions for Box Loner. Number 1, Prime Minister Nigel Farage or Hassan Piker?
Can I kill myself?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
Take LonerBox. Clip it. He just said Hassan Piker.
He obviously meant Minecraft.
Oh, next question. Do you think Candace Owens is serious, or is she grifting?
She's grifting. Yeah. 100%.
You don't think she's like? I think she's actually.
No, if she was crazy, she would. Every time she's asked a question that she could answer with something defamatory, or she doesn't answer the question. She very tactically and intentionally dodges. Okay, you don't do that if you're crazy. If you genuinely believe that, yeah.
She lied in a conversation, I mean, numerous times in the peers conversation they had. It's like an hour and 45-minute, I think, conversation. And there was one point where he pressed her on a claim that she made about, I don't know, something conspiratorial relating to Charlie Kirk and TPUSA or something like that. And she just full on lied. And it took me 2 seconds to look it up. Like, I do think there's a bit of psychopathy going on there. I do think she is kind of a little bit crazy, but she lies. And when I saw that, like when I saw multiple times during that interview, like her just blatantly lying, I was like, okay, this is,
I guess compared to Kanye, right? Kanye is like definitely a little schizo when he's like, don't ask me what race the doctor was, Jewish, right? Like, it's like he's not afraid to just go,
it was a Jewish doctor.
Like, he'll just go on these crazy ass rants. And like, yeah, I guess that is very convincing, Loner, that him and Tucker like both will, or Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson will both like restrain themselves from implicating themselves legally. Like, that's where they draw the line. It's like, oh, maybe you don't actually believe this, but at the same time, like, Tucker probably believes in demons and possession, so it's a little bit of both.
Well, Kanye is diagnosed
crazy.
Kanye is diagnosed bipolar, and he'll oftentimes just get off his medication. So you will say some crazy shit if you stay up for like 5 days or something like that.
We got another question from Josiah. Loner, better speaker, Lindsay Doyle or John Burkow? Hint, Orda. I don't know.
Not even a question. Obviously, John Burkow.
Okay.
Wait, but he was a bully. They said he's a bully.
Good. Have you seen the House of Commons? Those people need to get bullied. Yeah. He's our bully. He's the nation's bully.
Don't you like nice people better? Don't you like this nice Pope who just says nice things?
Listen, there's a time and place for nice guys, okay?
Do you pray to the Pope?
World. This is no, I do not pray to the Pope. Yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Listen, the last
You're South American, aren't you guys all Catholic?
What the fuck? I'm a red-blooded American. I was born in North America.
Oh.
No, but ethnically, yes. Everyone's Catholic there.
Speaking of South
wait,
American, one of the groypers at Amfest was like very particular in his racism, where like his friend who was a groyper was Mexican. And I was like, you're not like fully white. And he's like, yeah, no, I'm cool with Mexicans. It's the South Americans you got to watch out for. And I'm just like,
fuck you guys.
I got a $10 super chat from Dazbidania. I wonder if Loner thinks there's any negotiated solution to Iran, or if their goals are too opposed to our regional allies, Saudi, Israel, Egypt, to make that possible. So it's just containment? Question mark.
Again, I can maybe find you a tweet if you want to put this on your screen at some point. The Ayatollah, when he was negotiating the JCPOA, put a list of red lines that he was seeking out. There's nothing more obvious in the world that they want to become as close to like nuclear or military capable as possible, so they can try and destroy Israel. Like that's what they want to do. And if it's all just memes, and if it's all negotiating tactics, and if it's all just chest beating, I don't care. You don't get to fuck around with nuclear. Like I'm very careful with obviously like the concept of preemptive strikes, right? Because like it should be it's like barroom rules, right? Like if you you don't hit someone first unless you have a very beyond reasonable doubt reason that they're going to attack you and that you might like lose your defensive advantage, right? So I think the same with military, but obviously I think that the threshold changes quite a lot when the question is existential when it comes to, and it's nuclear. So when you've got a country that wants to destroy another country and they're
What is the end game for Iran? Like, is it like just like a religious death cult where they're like, yeah, as soon as we get the nuke, we don't care about the consequences post us nuking Israel, but we want to do it? Because I never really got that. Like, is that really what they do the instant they have the opportunity?
It's hard to say exactly because, again, the regime is not the people of Iran, to be clear. The regime is insanely unpopular. Iranians are not the regime.
Say one nice thing about the Ayatollah.
Well, the first one or the current one?
Current.
Good memes. He shits on one of his viral tweets the other week was him shitting on some European country for women's rights. I don't know, it was very funny. And obviously he gets community node every time he challenges like Trump or the West on women's rights. Yeah. I don't know if you want to understand like the ideology of the Iranian regime, because it's all very like ideologically top down. If you look at the first Ayatollah Khomeini, if you look at a text called it's got a few different names because it's translated, but it's the guardianship of the jurist or the guardianship of the Islamic jurist. And you can look at like from one of the opening lines in there, it basically starts with some 400 plus year conspiracy that the Jews have been trying to undermine the Islamic world and have basically weaseled their way into whichever power is dominant at the time to use their strength to destroy the Muslim world. Like that's what they believe. So when you look at it through their lens, it kind of makes sense because they believe that the Jews, especially Jews in the state, are like a cancer that is spreading and destroying the Islamic world. So and they're very open about that. Like the founding, like whatever manifesto or basic principles of the Ayatollah says it quite openly. So I think their ambitions make sense. If they can't nuke Israel, then I guess what they can do is they can do the other thing that they do, which is to fund proxies to just weaken the country through a war of like an endless war of attrition, which is what the goal of Hezbollah and Hamas and the Houthis is.
Should America get involved in the Sudanese civil war?
Militarily, I'd need to know a lot more about the actual fighting on the ground to make a decision there. But I mean, USAID was good, wasn't it? That was like what 80% of the emergency food kitchens in Sudan were USAID. Damn,
wait,
a lot of people depended on that food.
A list right now?
What?
Are you reading? I'm asking Pisco if he's reading off a list of like things I'm going to rapidly fire throw at LonerBox.
I was throwing different things at him. I wanted to get taken up
had it already.
A broad set of things. I wanted to make sure that we're getting his true, authentic takes.
LonerBox Avatar movies, boring or good?
I haven't seen them.
Good. Keep it that way.
I do have to skedaddle here pretty soon.
Yeah, we're wrapping up here. I just any last minute questions, Pisco, that you still have?
I have one last question.
Yeah,
LonerBox, what do you do for fun outside of streaming and politics? What's a typical day for like? Okay, I'm going to take a break from streaming. What do you do? And don't say Hollow Knight or don't say video games.
Pisco, there's a big clue in his camera if you couldn't tell.
Oh, You sell guitars.
Yeah. No, I'm just kind of like building a rapport. Do you guys know? You guys heard of the new Fender Jag? It's banging. Listen, listen, I'm married to the game. Okay, no, I play guitar. I play a lot of classical guitar, actually, like South American and Spanish stuff. I've been getting more into that recently because that used to be my job. I do a bit of music production. I always like reading. Yeah, like climbing hills. We're in Scotland. There's loads of hills. Everyone's got a hill in their garden.
A chatter asked me, "Is LonerBox an 8 out of 8 mythic in WoW?" Is that?
I play WoW Classic. I play real WoW. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
What could I do to convince you to start your streams like 4 hours before you do? So that we don't overlap as much. Because you're starting at like 2 p.m., bro. You could hit the ground running. You could start at like 9 a.m. your time. That'd be great.
No, if we start at the same time, it makes us both better. You know, we have to.
I don't like it. I don't like it. You broke news on Collargate.
Oh my God, disinformation in chat. That song is not mine. That song, Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Pedophile, is not my song. It's a cover. Credits to Mr. Girl. Do not steal on my behalf. Thank you. Sorry.
I don't know if I should ask for context on that, but I'll just leave.
Mr. Girl did a fucking song called Would You Still Love Me If I Was a Pedophile. I did a little silly cover of it, and now people think it's my song. It's funny. Yeah.
It's an original.
Poor Mr. Girl.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in to Live and Learn, everyone. LonerBox, thanks for joining us. We really appreciate it. Even though we only got half of the opinions we wanted from you because you joined late, I liked it. Where can people find you? And apparently you stream what, on British hours or some stupid thing?
Yeah, it's called GMT.
Whatever.
Imperial hours.
Cold day in hell when I recognize GMT. All right. But where can people find you?
You can find me on YouTube, LonerBox, or LonerBox Live. Or on Twitter, I'm Box Loner because LonerBox was taken. Fuck that guy.
Okay. All right. Guy, what you got going on this week?
Nothing exciting. Just dunking on MAGA morons on TikTok. So if people want to come hang out during the day and explore the MAGA mind with me, then join me on TikTok under the same name. I'm really important.
Yeah, Guy was telling me he doesn't even celebrate Christmas or any holiday. Really, he doesn't give a shit. He only celebrates whatever the girl he's dating is celebrating. So he's streaming. He's in love. He's married to the game.
Hey, man. Kwanzaa, Christmas, Hanukkah. I don't give a shit. Whatever they're into.
Hutch, what's going on this week?
Yeah, there's a viewer of mine named Conduit who started making videos. Loner, I think you've reviewed one of his videos, but he does this niche where he'll watch a creator for an entire week and then make like long form videos.
Like what I learned watching Kyle Kalinske a week, right? Yeah, I think I've seen those. Those are good.
He did one on Kyle and Crystal. He did one on Young Turks. He did one on a bunch of lefties. And then we've been pushing him to do it on sort of like right-wing or right-wing adjacent people. So he did it on Asmongold, and it's like 2 hours and 20 minutes. And so we watched the first half today. We're going to watch the rest of it tomorrow. And then there's a shitload of stuff to react to. But yeah, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 11:30 a.m. Eastern tomorrow.
Yeah, so if you can't spend the time to watch the 2-hour video, watch Hutch watch it for 4 hours instead.
Yep. 4 to 5 to 6, really. Yeah.
All right, Pisco, what's going on this week?
I'm Pisco. You can find me on the H3 subreddit. And also joke. That's a joke. I want to go over this Boasberg opinion that I just saw. We're going to be doing some more legal streams this week. But yeah, you can come in and if you have a disagreement with me, you can jump in and we can talk about it. But yeah.
Right on. And I don't got anything special going on. I think I might do a Christmas stream, maybe play. I've heard Expedition 33 is good. Maybe I'll do that. Just do the Christmas Eve stream. That's good, right, Hutch? You're a gamer.
Expedition 33 is great. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'll do. I picked it. Done. All right.
Awesome.
Thanks so much, guys. Don't forget to live and learn, and Merry Christmas, Happy Boxing Day, or whatever they celebrate in the UK, or Scott and Scootin', whatever. We're all happy here. Merry holidays, everybody.
It's the same country, dude. What are you talking about?
All right, guys.
Sure.